the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, let's do it, boys!
I'm doing seated jumping jacks.
Yes, seated jumping jacks, the exercise for 30-year-olds everywhere. Welcome to the Megalodon!
The heart pumping, the blood flowing.
I've already got a calf strain. This show's already off to a bad start.
Welcome into the Megalodon. I don't know what's... I'm looking at you. I don't know if you're going to go full Megala. Welcome, Wednesday, November 21st. Happy Thanksgiving. This is the show of all shows where we take the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday show. We stuff them inside of a shark.
Tighten them up. Yeah, I mean, really, the only animal that could properly consume this in one bite would be a megalodon.
As always, let us know if you make it through the Megalodon in one sitting.
We'll give you a special little something at the end.
Will we? Do we have something in there?
I'll figure. I've got long enough to figure it out.
Yes, you do. And just for good measure, this is show 655 in our history.
Whoa, chomp!
You got the crickets in here, Brooks, for today?
What?
No, that was great.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I heard jump. I didn't get it. Chomp is much better.
So let me just let you know what's going on today. We have Turkey Day awards, okay? We'll see if you guys can guess these. We have Pump the Brakes. We've got In or Out, all the news you need to know to set your fantasy lineup in Week 12. We have the Fantasy Forecast, all of it, all the matchups. We have Starts of the Week. We have Boom Boom Kicker. We got Daily Dose. We got Mailbag.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm out of here.
Oh,
that's too much.
So, first of all, Jason, eat a banana, fix that calf cramp.
I did have a slice of breakfast pizza in preparation.
Well, of course you did. And to all you out there,
very underrated pizza, by the way. Breakfast pizza is awesome.
It had breakfast gravy on it.
Is this another one from
breakfast gravy?
This from
hold
QT.
On.
Yeah, it's from QT. Yes.
I see those advertisements.
Breakfast gravy?
Yeah, like sausage gravy, like biscuits
and
gravy.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
White?
Yeah, the white gravy.
Oh,
yeah, that's
man.
really good.
So good.
That sounds
It's also very heavy, like the last thing you'd want to eat right before a megalodon.
No, it was a bad choice, but I've made it. So.
Oh, yeah. That's like drafting what? Dalvin Cook? Is that a bad choice that you made as well?
Yeah.
If you're listening, make sure you shift your weight appropriately. We don't want bed sores.
Don't lock your knees.
Don't lock your knees. Be careful. Get up, walk around. Enjoy yourself. Welcome in. You can find us on YouTube at the FF Ballers. Be sure to head over to footclanvote.com. And actually, don't even do that. Please don't do that. Because we have a very special giveaway that just went live. It's the Megalodon giveaway. You can win a signed Saquon Barkley jersey. You can win a signed DeAndre Hopkins jersey. You can win a signed Michael Thomas mini helmet.
Yeah. But that's got to cost me a lot of money. I can't.
And it's our way of saying thank you. It's Thanksgiving. We're thankful to each and every one of you, especially the way you've supported us, voting for us on the iHeartRadio Awards.
But how much does it cost to enter this incredible giveaway?
It is free.
What?
Yeah, you're giving to us, so we're trying to give a little bit back.
So go to footclangiveaway.com. And there are a bunch of ways you can grab an entry. They're all free. We appreciate you. And, man, I'm just excited for this episode. So I guess we're starting with the Turkey Day Award.
As we should.
And the question, and this comes from Kyle, our editor. He came up with some awards. And I want to see if you guys can guess them right here, right now. Fantasy Football Award.
I already have a problem with these awards. I don't know who the awards go to, but I've read the descriptions, and they're just horrendously bad takes.
We'll see. That's because the first one is the Cranberry Sauce Award.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so it should go to the worst.
No, just silence.
Enough of you.
Just be quiet. This is by far the sexiest of Turkey Day dishes. When you get it just right, it makes everything about Thanksgiving feel right, considering how cheap and simple it is. What player wins the Cranberry Sauce Award?
leaning that this is of extreme value.
Sure.
So my guess, because he's a sexy devil himself, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes.
I am going to guess, because I refuse to play into the disgusting takes of this being a great option, cheap and old and busted. I'm going Frank Gore is cranberry sauce.
Thanks
here.
for playing the game, Jason.
Yeah, I made my guess. I bet I got it right.
Patrick Mahomes wins the Cranberry Sauce Award.
Oh, yeah.
Honorable mentions to James Conner and to George Kittle, who only cost me a Kittle on the waivers.
That wasn't cheap. I mean, he was cheap in the draft season.
Sure.
I apologize to those three wonderful men having to be put in this category.
It's well known that Mike and I are big fans of canned cranberry sauce, as is all the people worldwide who buy it and eat it.
The
and it's great.
cannier, the better.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Put it in 2 cans. That's what I say.
Ooh,
You
Sam
open the
agrees.
can.
Not the bird,
Take
but
the can
2
out.
separate cans. All right, the Burn Dinner Roll. Okay,
Oh.
the Burn Dinner Roll Award. Gosh, man, you put so much time and effort into preparing the meal, but unexpectedly, the rolls were burned. So this is disappointment.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to scrape the carbon shavings off and eat it anyway. Okay?
Oh, yes.
So this is the Burn Dinner Roll Award. Do you have any guesses?
The way I'll let you go first.
It has to be between one of two people. The two people that, to this point in the season, have completely wrecked you. It's Gronk or Dalvin Cook. I will guess Gronk.
I'm gonna go with Dalvin Cook. Was the immediate thought of? I mean, how do you burn? How do you burn the rolls? You'd be a bad cook.
Oh, I'm changing to Cook.
Rob Gronkowski
Dang it!
is the winner of the Burn Dinner Roll, with honorable mention to both Dalvin Cook
All right.
and Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah.
Because some of you-
Henry.
Some of you have you had a few bad bites of that roll. By now, you probably threw it in the garbage.
Yeah, there was mold on that
Maybe.
roll.
Here's the Sweet Potato Casserole Award. So you've got a heavy, hearty, delicious for the first few bites, but you can only have so much before it makes you vomit all over the floor and thus completely ruin Thanksgiving, and your family calls you a no-good has-been.
Oh.
All right? Who is the Sweet Potato Casserole? Who can you only handle a few bites of before it goes sour?
Trying to remember who got off to a super hot start this year.
Well, that's a good hint, because it's definitely a player that did that.
Well, right.
I think I got it. Deshaun Jackson?
You are very warm, Mike. You are wrong, but you are very warm.
Oh, I'm gonna go Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes.
I just guessed that out of nowhere.
Ryan Fitzpatrick wins the Sweet Potato Casserole Award. Jordan Howard, Golden Tate. Also included.
Jordan Howard is perfect for that.
Yeah. Pretty heavy,
Yeah.
pretty hearty, and ultimately
Disappointing.
you only got a few bites before no good.
Yeah.
I guess we'll throw one more award in here.
All right.
All right. This is the Mike Wright Special, the Jack in the Box Award. If you don't know this already, Mike is not a supporter of Thanksgiving, gratitude, happiness, puppies,
Joy.
children.
How dare you besmirch puppies? I love puppies.
That is true.
I love them.
But all
Mike,
the others, joy, happiness.
Yes, the
Yes.
other crap, get it out of my face.
cursory greetings to one another in public, saying hello,
The worst.
smiling. Anyways, the Mike Wright Special is the Jack in the Box Award because Mike
Every year
he goes out and instead of having a fine Thanksgiving dinner, he gets Jack in the Box.
Well, to be fair, the normal dinner, I think, is the garbage leftovers of the garbage Thanksgiving lunch. So what I do is every Thanksgiving night, you get that football, the extravaganza of the Thursday night game. This year it's going to be fantastic. You get that ultimate cheeseburger combo. You just get absolutely ill.
This is not a slang term.
No,
literally.
This is not Beastie Boys. It's time to get ill. This is
Physically.
after the game. I'm gonna have a problem.
Yes.
But while I'm doing it, it's real fun.
So the Mike Wright Special, the way that Kyle described it,
Of course.
it's the random dish that somebody brought because, well, they're convinced Thanksgiving food is trash and outdated. It's time to stop with the old way of thinking. Open your eyes. Realize that this could be the best thing ever. So what?
I don't even know what that describes.
I think it's a new hotness.
A new hotness? An Aaron
that's
Jones?
very fair.
Ooh, and Aaron Jones is a great answer.
Aaron Jones is the answer.
Oh, nice one.
Kenny Golladay,
Yeah, that works.
Nick
too.
Chubb, honorable mentions.
Oh, Nick Chubb.
So there you go. There's your holiday Turkey Day Awards. Thank you, Kyle. Those were wonderful.
Brought to you by the Borgogan.
What I was thinking about this morning, do you know what's coming? In like 2 months, we got the footies. So Footclan, don't forget, the footies is one of the most fun shows of the year. Right after the conclusion of the fantasy season, we will give out our year-long, incredibly important footy awards.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, they show up on people's IMDb profile if they win one of those. I don't know why. All right, it is, we got a lot on this show.
Yeah.
So let's jump in.
O'Reilly.
Auto parts. Whoa.
It's a Megalodon show. You got to take it to the next level.
It's Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. My Pump the Brakes.
Yeah.
It's Adrian Peterson. He surprised us last week with 2 touchdowns, but he gets to take on Dallas with Colt McCoy behind center. And I took a look at this Dallas. That defense is playing pretty well. And when it comes to stopping opposing running backs, they've given up 1 total touchdown over the last 6 weeks to opposing running backs. I think it's going to be tough sledding for Adrian Peterson. If you need 8 fantasy points, you got it. Adrian's going to get you that. I don't think you're going to be excited. And if you need an upside play at running back, I would pump the brakes on AP and turn elsewhere.
My Pump the Brakes this week is focused on Dion Lewis and Derrick Henry, the burnt dinner roll himself, Mr. Henry. Andy, you had talked about feels like people had thrown him away. The problem was they got to the gooey middle where it's actually a little bit delicious, and he had that 3-game run, and people thought, oh, maybe this roll is okay. But then the true colors of Derrick Henry's usage came back to fruition. I mean, so many games where he doesn't even hit the double-digit carry mark. He was being carried fantasy-wise by touchdowns, and now he's on the road against the Houston Texans. I'm not playing Henry under almost any circumstance, and that transfers over to Dion Lewis as well. If I can find anything that resembles a good option at the running back position, I'm going to play him over Dion Lewis as well this week.
We are in the running back pump business here, because my pump the brakes this week is Lamar Miller, who has been pretty okay for most of the last month. Had 1 game where he was given a little bit of rest, but outside of that,
where he was feeling blue.
Yes, he was feeling very Alfred Blue that game. The issue here is Tennessee Titans. This is the Monday night game at the end of the week. It's very low scoring projection. You don't even know yet exactly who the quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Mariota? Is it going to be Bortles? Tennessee gets into
Bortles.
Bortles.
Is he getting traded?
Blaine.
Bombshell. Blaine Gabbert.
They both start with a B. It works.
Both bad.
Both bad.
Well, we do not, for the record, we do not know that it's going to be Blaine Gabbert.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
be...
said that he was. Okay, gotcha.
But what I do know that Tennessee is great at doing this season is getting into just an ugly brawl. Just one of those, oh man, this is not a super fun game.
Throwing mud.
Yeah, just mud
kicking in the crotch.
Mud in the visor. And it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Kickers.
And
they'll fight dirty.
For Lamar Miller, who just really hasn't had the juice to come up against Tennessee, who's the 3rd most difficult matchup for the running back position on the season, I mean, what are you really hoping for and expecting here? Even if he gets 20 carries, I could see it being 20 carries for 65 yards and no touchdowns, and then you're like, that was disappointing. So I don't think the upside is there with Lamar Miller.
Let's just do a quick
pump versus pump.
Yeah, comparative
Adrian
notes.
Peterson, Lamar Miller, or Dion Lewis. Put those in order.
They are literally
I have them 23, 24, 27, Peterson, Miller, Lewis.
I have them I didn't even look at this before we started talking. I have them 22, which is Peterson, 23 Lamar Miller, 24 is Dion Lewis.
So we have the same order.
Same order here as well. Peterson, Miller, Lewis, but mine I've got Peterson up at 21 and then 23 and 27 for Dion Lewis.
Yeah. That was Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Let's go ahead and jump into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
This was a big surprise yesterday. Although we did point out on the show how odd it was that he needed a second opinion after a good report.
Yeah.
And this would be why. Buccaneers have placed tight end O.J. Howard on injured reserve with foot and ankle injuries ending his season.
Yeah, hope you got that Cameron Brate waiver wire put in.
Yeah, Cameron Brate becomes one. Like I would, if you're in need of tight end help, which
You are.
the majority of teams are, I would spend the first waiver claim on Brate because rest of season he becomes a valuable tight end in my world.
If this had happened before the waiver show yesterday, Cameron Brate would have been my top pickup of the entire week.
Over Gus?
Over to the Gus bus, over any of those wide receivers, because I think Cameron Brate becomes an instant top 10 tight end on a weekly basis.
Ryan Tannehill will return as the Dolphins starter for Week 12 against the Colts.
Finally!
Well, I mean, Brocktober is over, so it's
Yeah.
time for Tannehill to get back in there. I like the Colts defense a good amount.
Fair.
Rams coach Sean McVay confirmed that Todd Gurley was indeed limited by an ankle injury against the Chiefs. He's expected to be fine going forward. He gets 2 weeks off.
I think this is actually great news for fantasy players because you were watching Malcolm Brown get drive after drive going, what is happening? Are they instituting a new game plan where they're going to try and give Todd Gurley more rest during the game? Because that would really, really suck. But it was just a light injury. Bye week is perfectly timed. You're good to go with Todd Gurley.
Yeah,
but pick up Malcolm Brown, people.
Yeah, turned his ankle. I pick up Malcolm Brown if you own Gurley.
If you have own Gurley, thank you.
All right, we normally do this on Friday, but this is the Megalodon. We're going to cover the injuries right now. Let's play some in and out.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
And remember, these are projections. You got to
Way
follow
too
the
early.
news.
Way
Predictions.
too early.
Now, there are a number of games tomorrow, so you need to project. You need to put guys in. But one of those guys, Mitchell Trubisky.
It's not looking good.
This is a big-time report. I don't think that Trubisky plays on Thanksgiving. From the reports, it sounded like if this was a regular week of break for Trubisky, he would be all right to play. But because of the short week, they're going to have to err on the side of caution and not play him.
Yeah, I lean out for Mitchell Trubisky. That is going to hurt all
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean it's going to hurt the Thanksgiving Day watching a little bit, but hopefully Matt Nagy can come up with some cool stuff. I did see a great tweet out there. I believe it was Jake Seeley was asked what was the wide receiver you want if Chase Daniel has to start, and I think he was correct in saying
None.
Darius Slay. Cornerback for the Detroit Lions.
That's pretty good.
Chase Daniel would get the start. So.
Man, if Chase Daniel is the quarterback for the Bears, are they the first game? Hopefully they are the first, and we can just get this out of the way. That's not going to be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a pretty dirty game all the way around, no
Yes,
doubt about
it will.
Let's go ahead and turn the page here. Marcus Mariota, what do you think?
Diagnosed with a stinger.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And he's the Monday night game as well. Am I remembering that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So
you weren't going to play him anyway, so let's just go with that.
Joe Flacco, in or out?
Out.
I'm going to say out.
Kerryon Johnson, Thanksgiving.
Out. Just mark him out already, Lions.
Yeah, they're already talking up Zach Zinner.
Yeah. Which, honestly, if you had LeGarrette Blount as your lead back, I would probably talk up Zach Zinner as well.
All right, let's look at Kenyon Drake, the shoulder injury. He was wearing a non-contact jersey at Tuesday's practice. Briefly exited in Week 10, but returned.
I think he'll play.
Yeah.
But this one you need to monitor.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, exactly.
Doug Martin.
I don't think the ankle injury will keep him out. I expect him to be back.
Okay. All right. AJ Green.
Man.
Reported that he has a good chance to return. Do you think he's in or do you think he's out?
I think he'll be out.
Yeah, I lean that way as well, but it's too early to know.
But they're purposely leaking a lot of positive information about him. We'll see if that's
just
some more gamesmanship from master craftsman Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Jones.
Out.
Yeah.
Traquan Smith didn't practice Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, the no practice on Tuesday is pretty scary because he is the Thursday night game. So you got to be prepared for him to not play.
Yeah, I still believe he plays.
Okay.
Robbie Anderson.
Meh.
It'd be nice for Josh McCown to have Robbie Anderson or Sam Darnold. We don't know if Darnold or McCown are going to be in. Do you expect it to be Darnold?
I expect it to still be McCown.
Rob Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham.
Gronk will play. Jimmy Graham, stop it.
I think Jimmy Graham will play, will be active, but that's a big problem. I mean, you're on the field with a broken thumb.
Yeah, and your specialty is a pass-catching tight end, man. It's just stop.
All right, it is fantasy forecast time before we jump into, dare I say, all the matchups.
Dare you do.
Dare I do. Let's thank SeatGeek for sponsoring this Megalodon episode. Getting tickets online, you know the story. It can be far too complicated. There are hundreds of sites. There's varying levels of reliability. You don't know who to trust. Maybe you don't even want to mess with it because you don't know who to trust. That's why SeatGeek is the way to go. Whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, or, it's that time of year, find a perfect gift for someone that you love. SeatGeek is the place. They've got you covered. It is the app you need. Every purchase, fully guaranteed. You can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. They grade them all. They make it really easy. This little green means go. You get that perfect ticket at a perfect price. Best of all, our listeners, you get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. So if you haven't jumped in, now's the time. Download the SeatGeek app. Enter the promo code FOOTBALLERS today. That is the promo code FOOTBALLERS for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. SeatGeek. Life is an event. We have the tickets.
We'd like to thank Lightstream for sponsoring today's show. The holidays are approaching. You might be thinking about how are you going to save some extra money. Consider consolidation with Lightstream. They offer credit card consolidation loans from 6.14 APR with autopay. Compare that to the national average credit card interest rate of over 19%. You got to check them out. The application is 100% online. There are no fees. Lightstream believes that people with good credit deserve a great interest rate. You can get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000. I mean, Lightstream has you covered, and our listeners can save even more with an additional interest rate discount. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/footballers, lightstream.com/footballers. It's going to be subject to credit approval. Rate includes a 0.5% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/footballers for more information.
Fantasy Forecast.
All right. The Chiefs and Rams are on bye, so we won't be talking about them. They need a week off anyway. They're going to try to push some of those points forward into their next matchup.
They've earned it.
Thanksgiving, there are a number of Thanksgiving Day games. Remember, get those Thanksgiving Day players out of your flex position. Put them in a running back, wide receiver spot. Give yourself some flexibility for the weekend, especially if you're dealing with a lack of Chiefs or Rams. Let's talk about Chase Daniel, guys.
Oh, do we have to?
We're doing a full biopic.
Oh, that won't take long.
Yeah, a 5-part documentary. No, the 7-3 Bears take on the 4-6 Lions. The Lions are 4-point underdogs at home. 45-point over-under. This is your first Thanksgiving Day game, and this is Chase Daniel versus Matthew Stafford. Both teams are a little beat up. If Trubisky misses the game, Kerryon Johnson injured, Marvin Jones injured. Look, Kenny Golladay is the question that I have because he was so smooth last week. He was so great, and yet, I mean, this Bears defense in and of itself is fabulous. And instead of having to divert their attention in the secondary to a number of different weapons, it's really, can we stop Kenny G? And I think they're going to do it.
Yeah,
I thought about pumping the brakes other than the fact that the
volume is going to be so intense.
The volume and Kenny G's sheer size.
Yeah.
This is such a great matchup to tell the tale of Kenny G. Is he as good as he has looked? Because you're right, Andy. Can he beat that Bears D? And the answer is yes. We'll actually talk about him later because he is the opposite of a pump the brakes for this
Wow.
guy. I truly believe there won't be another option but to have Kenny Golladay extremely involved in the offense, get enough targets to where, yeah, it's going to be some difficult matchups. Yeah, maybe you get a pass or two that's a little bit more difficultly guarded, but the reality is Kenny G's going to sky up. He's going to get great
Sky up?
Oh, yeah. He's going to
I'm down with it. I'll allow it.
He's going to sky up, grab the ball, fall down in the end zone. I think he has a great game. And, there's nothing better than starting. This is the first game of the week. This is the first game of the Thanksgiving morning. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of juiciness here. I think Kenny Golladay will be.
Some dry turkey.
No. Kenny Golladay is going to be.
I'm talking about the game.
Oh, sure. He's the ham.
Oh, the honey glaze.
And he going to go ham.
Going to come through.
In their last matchup, Trubisky had 355 passing yards and 4 total touchdowns against the Lions. If Chase Daniel starts, how do you adjust your Chicago weapons? Allen Robinson, last time they played, 6 for 133 and 2. There was a lot of points to be had. I mean, you got Tariq Cohen to consider, Taylor Gabriel, Anthony Miller. What do you do with these offensive weapons with Chase Daniel? Because I don't want to just gloss over it and say, well, Chase Daniel, look, he
is still going to be an NFL quarterback.
Absolutely.
He's going to be throwing the ball.
And we've seen, Nick Mullens come out and perform give George Kittle incredible value. The Lions defense, it sucks. They're 23rd against quarterbacks, 23rd against wideouts, 21st against running backs, 16th against tight ends. It seems like this could be a trap, right? Like if you throw them all away,
right,
or even Chase Daniel,
well,
he could have an okay game.
Chase Daniel over the last 4 seasons has a 100% completion percentage.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
how many passes?
3, but over 2 different years. So that's pretty impressive, Chase.
So he's never thrown an incomplete pass in 4 years?
That's
incredible.
Yeah.
Neither have I, to be honest. So what do you do, Mike? Are you starting Allen Robinson as a wide receiver 2 this week?
Yes. I will still start Robinson and Miller with, even if Chase Daniels is the guy. I think the matchup is still good. What are you guys doing with Jordan Howard? The Lions defense, they're a little bit more stout. We got to check on the health of Snacks Harrison for the Lions. But will the Bears just
lean on the
run?
run?
They lean on Howard a little bit more with Chase Daniel as the quarterback?
Yeah, this is your mystery meal for Thanksgiving with Jordan Howard. You don't know what you're going to get, but I think that
it's worth
take a bite.
Yeah.
I mean, it might work out. They may lean on Jordan Howard a lot. I mean, this could be there's a world where this is defense and running. Take the ball out of Chase Daniel's hands. You can probably do it, and Howard could have 20 touches in this game. So he is like, I'd play him over Peterson and Lewis and Lamar Miller. Those 3. So
and I think over Tariq Cohen as well in this game. Like you're saying, this is more of a we need to protect the quarterback, and if Jordan Howard is extremely involved, I think the secondary pieces for the Bears are going to be better than the primary ones, and I view Tariq Cohen as the primary piece. I'm not a big fan of Allen Robinson in this matchup. Darius Slay will probably be guarding Allen Robinson, the combination of that, and then you've got the backup, coming in, Anthony Miller, Trey Burton. I think those guys are possibly better plays than Allen Robinson. 2
sneaky starts in this game, Theo Riddick and Bruce Ellington on the Lions side of the football.
Yes, I completely agree.
Riddick, look, over the last month, the Lions running backs have averaged 11.5 targets per game. That's not going to change when you have no Marvin Jones, when you've jettisoned Golden Tate. And then Bruce Ellington last week had 9 targets. So if you need a sneaky start.
Theo is a great sneaky play.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about more backup quarterbacks. The 6-4 Redskins take on the 5-5 Cowboys. I'm talking about Dak Prescott, obviously.
Get body.
How does that make you feel, Brooks?
All right, whatever. He doesn't care.
He's crying.
And I'm kidding. I'm talking about Colt McCoy in this one. The Cowboys are 7.5-point favorites. This was a temptation for an almost upset of the week for me. This game's in Dallas. The reason I'm not going to do it is I think the Dallas defense is pretty all right, and then Zeke is pretty unstoppable. So I think by sheer force they're going to win this game. It's only a 40.5 point over-under. So
this would have been a very good almost upset to take based on history. Are you guys aware that in the 7 seasons of this coaching regime,
the Jason Garrett regime?
Yes. They have never once covered the Thanksgiving Day spread. They're
Really?
0-7.
Huh.
is that so?
I did not know.
I do what I want.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
You know, I was just hanging. I was teetering on the edge with this one, and you pushed me.
There you go.
You gave me a little
It's
nudge.
a megalodon. You can have more than one.
Hot stats pushed me over the edge. Go Redskins. Colt McCoy, Adrian Peterson, and Josh Doxson. I'm undoing my almost upset of the week. No, not really. But where's the value? Jordan Reed, was this a real, is this a reappearing act? Was it all a mirage last week, or is Jordan Reed going to find some newfound value in Colt McCoy?
It was his second game of the season where he actually eclipsed the double-digit target mark. I do think that that Colt will lean on Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed or Cameron Brate this week?
Cameron Brate.
Yeah, I would go with Cameron Brate. I think it had something to do with Maurice Harris, who was kind of that waiver wire sensation for 2 to 3 weeks. He was pushed to the outside with Trey Quinn, Mr. Irrelevant from this past year, getting healthy.
Wide receiver for the Redskins.
Yeah, well, thank you. Wide receiver, and he came in, and I don't think there's enough there to call him a sneaky start. I mean, he was 4 for 49. I think he will probably finish right around there.
But he hurt
again.
Maurice Harris.
Yes, and I think that increased the value of Jordan Reed.
With the wide receiver core, with Trey Quinn there, Maurice Harris, Doxson, Crowder probably not playing. I don't want any of them. There's zero chance I would start one of them in this game. There's got to be guys, even waiver wire guys, I would probably feel more confident in than taking the gamble at what is probably a low ceiling with the Redskins.
Zeke had a very poor game against this Washington defense last time they played. 15 carries for only 33 rushing yards.
Yeah, but things have been
very good.
Things have been a lot better. The Cowboys have figured some things out.
And then what about Dak Prescott in this game? Low over under. Doesn't seem like a great situation against the Washington defense that's, it's pretty stout.
Yeah.
Do you start Dak?
I think there's better streamers available this week.
Yeah, I've got him at 18 this week.
Yeah, 16 for me. So outside the top 12, someone that, might be a good 2-quarterback league starter, but in a single QB league, I'm not going to play Dak.
One more big name, Amari Cooper last week was 3 for 36 on 5 targets against Atlanta. This week he's our consensus wide receiver 20. He's the one to start if you have to,
yes.
But that low over under has me scared.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't seem like this doesn't seem like the pieces on the field that can have the high-scoring back-and-forth game. Vegas agrees with that. So your upside, you're just pretty much playing the safe options in this game, and that's Zeke.
Yeah, and Amari Cooper likely to see the shadow of Josh Norman, and we've seen Amari Cooper
struggle.
When he gets up against a good shadow corner, he struggles.
Brooks, make sure you keep your eye on any injury news during the show, just in case. Guys, a long show. A lot of things can happen during the course of a full Megalodon.
I'm on it.
All right.
Well, I got a quick question for you guys.
Sure.
When you're drinking coffee.
Yeah, which you were looking at your cup a little strange.
Yeah, well, because you get to, that bottom fourth of it.
When it turns.
How does it go from scalding hot to freezing cold that fast?
It's a miracle of science. It can be. It doesn't matter how hot it is when it gets to the last, whatever it is, like the last quarter, it just immediately turns to freezing cold.
This is a question for DeGrasse Tyson. I know you're out there. I know you're listening to this show, Neil.
Is he?
Of course he is.
Oh, it's the Megalodon.
He's
yeah,
smart.
everyone's listening to this show. Look, I need some answers.
Well, see,
on this.
I don't have that problem.
You don't?
Oh, you've got the expensive mug.
I bought one of those mugs because I drink coffee every morning. It's my favorite routine. And I bought one of those mugs that heats your coffee while it's
Whoa,
in
Mr.
the mug.
Hoity-toity.
You're darn right. Now, to the manufacturers of that mug, make it bigger. It's small.
Yeah, my mug is
But
is enormously full of Very cold coffee.
Yeah, I've drank from that new. It's a heated mug, so you just pick it up, you fill up your coffee, and it keeps it at a certain temperature. And I've gotten so used to it that if I have coffee in a regular mug, I'm living in
You're
this
spoiled.
this horrible world. Like,
So you go to the restaurant, you're like, oh, would you like a coffee, sir? Do you have the?
yeah, no, I bring it. I pull it out
He
of
just
my
pulls it out of his satchel.
yeah, out of my man satchel. And I plug it. I do have an outlet. I asked him for an outlet.
I need a USB port, please.
Yeah.
Before we completely move on
From coffee?
No. I think we have officially moved on from that. No, I do want to bring up Adrian Peterson. I know you pumped the brakes on him, but it is worth at least noting he usually, I mean, maybe this is just a stupid trend, but the games that look bad for AP, last week against Houston, a terrible matchup. That's the time to not play him.
Look, honestly, it was 2 touchdowns. I mean, 16 for 51 is a terrible game.
Sure, but he got the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did.
The 2 weeks before against Atlanta and Tampa Bay, those are when you expect him to go hog wild. He stunk. 17 yards, no touchdowns.
Well, the Jordan Howard, as a counterpoint to ruin my pump the brakes, Colt McCoy behind center, you have the same arguments you could make about Chase Daniel and what Chicago might need to do on offense. The difference being, though, Dallas is at home and a heavy favorite.
And the offensive line for Washington is just annihilated.
That's the problem. So it's just a matter of Dallas is not giving up rushing touchdowns lately. So if Peterson doesn't score, now if he scores, he'll be fine.
Right.
But if he doesn't score, I worry about him. The Falcons at 4-6 take on the 9-1 Saints. Now, at no point during the past offseason, despite loving the Saints, did I imagine that they would be 13-point favorites over the Falcons in division at home. A 60-point over-under in this game. The Saints they're out for blood at this point. Now,
one might say they're a shark in the water.
What kind of shark, Jason?
I like how Dirty Grunts has translated into what you think sharks sound like.
Oh, yeah. No, I know it is.
Well, it's like whales talk like this.
That is
Sharks have the deep. Yeah, they're grunters.
How do hammerheads talk?
Oh, God.
Do you think hammerhead sharks try to hang out with the regular sharks and they get
they're not allowed.
They're just like, what's this guy doing here? Well, how did you do it?
Can I play?
You got some nails?
All right, Matt Ryan, Tevin Coleman, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. How do we paint the picture for the Falcons? I feel like what we've done with the Falcons lately is say we've just kind of assumed that the games they're involved in are going to be these like really nice, productive fantasy games where their offense shows up and Matt Ryan is doing his thing and Julio's doing his thing and Calvin Ridley has a chance, but it's really not been that way lately. I mean,
at least for the past 2 weeks, you're right. Last week they scored 19 points. The week before that got absolutely slobber-knockered by the Cleveland Browns, only putting up 16 points.
Well, sure, and it's been a problem. Now, Julio has scored in 3 straight games, so you're going to always start Julio Jones. And
Julio touchdown Jones.
Yeah, listen to this. At this pace, the touchdown per game pace that Julio's on right now, like if he can continue 1 touchdown per game,
16.
He's set to pass Jerry Rice in 2028. So,
right around the corner.
That's pretty exciting. Tevin Coleman, though, in this matchup, going up against the Saints. Look, the Saints over the course of the season now, it's starting to look a little different for the defense. They're stopping running backs. Now, this is not necessarily about their defensive front being dominant. This is about the same reason why they are, by the way, number 1 against fantasy kickers. It's more to that to me, which is, dude, you just can't kick a field goal against the Saints.
It's all or nothing?
You can't run the football against the Saints because you're never up. You got to throw the ball because you're coming back. You can't kick a field goal because you're coming back. Do you expect much out of Tevin Coleman? Because he's been pretty hit and miss. He's running at a nice clip, 5.6 yards per carry over the last 4 games.
Yeah, he's been productive. I should say he's been efficient with his carries, but you're not getting a massive workload. I mean, over the past 5 weeks, he's only averaging 10.6 carries a game. And then
That's the problem.
And then you sprinkle in a couple receptions, and that's a fine fantasy running back, but that's a running back too who you're just hoping that he hits a big play.
I've got this rule in my life. It's one of my many life rules, and I don't like.
Always briefs.
That's one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I made that transition, Mike. I'm sad because it hurts my brand, the old man brand, the white brief brand, but I moved on to the boxer briefs, and they're just better. But one of my life rules is you don't jump in front of a stampede. Now, I don't know if you guys make that a rule.
I call that the Mufasa rule.
Yeah, 100%. But Brooks, do you have this rule in your life?
I do.
Yeah. Don't jump in front of a stampede. That's how I feel about these Falcons going up against the Saints right now. This is a stampede. I don't want to touch anybody other than Julio Jones.
I mean, I get it. I completely get it. You have a couple weeks in a row of Falcons not looking great, and, of course, the Saints are just unbelievable. But I have a rule that is, if there's a 60-point over-under game in Vegas,
yeah, I like that rule.
I take the players and I put them out there. Look, the Falcons have had 2 bad weeks in a row, without a doubt. The Falcons are not a bad offense. Matt Ryan did not forget how to play football.
They had a great game in week 3 when the Falcons scored 37 points.
Yeah. Was that against the Saints?
That was against the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where you're in division. The last 2 weeks, the Falcons know they're pretty much out of the playoff run. They have very little left to play for. You're playing against the Browns. They did not get up for these games. But this is an in-division game against your getting all the news division rival.
You know who you sound like? You sound like me talking about the Eagles last week going up against the Saints.
Sure.
And the Saints offense. The implied point total in this game, despite the over-under, is just 23 points for Atlanta. That's on par with what Cleveland and Chicago are supposed to do this week. I get it. But you are sounding like me the last 2 weeks with Atlanta. I'm done with it.
Yeah, I am still willing to take a shot on those pieces. Tevin Coleman, I think, is going to be a fine play. Julio, obviously, and Matt Ryan. I don't like. I wanted.
Where do you have Coleman? I have Coleman right now at 19.
I have Coleman.
Same. I have him 19 as well.
Let me see.
So you would still play him. You just.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I'm not looking at it as a bonanza for the Falcons. I'm looking at it as, okay, they're going to have to throw the ball, obviously. But I'm not going to count on Matt Ryan to be like this game.
You're saying you can't trust Ridley or Sanu to the point
or even
where
Matt Ryan to the degree of giving you a top 5 week, because 3 weeks ago I would have looked at this game and said, you start every Falcon expecting their best. But I don't think that's the case.
Fair.
I would start Calvin Ridley in this game. That's the one guy I would still be willing to take. I think he's shown enough as a rookie where in the
You would start Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I would be willing to start Calvin Ridley.
I think he's been like single digits for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't put up a lot of points, but look, they're implied
5-5-6, 18-5-5.
Their implied total of 23.5. I don't know if you can bet just team implied totals, but I would bet the over on that for the Atlanta Falcons.
How would you now?
I would.
Would you?
Whoa!
Oh, just between you and me?
Yeah, 23.
Heck yeah!
23 points.
23.5. That's what it is.
Water bet.
Yeah, this is perfect. We'll see if your confidence in Matt Ryan works out better than the Carson Wentz experiment this last week.
Speaking of confidence, the New Orleans Saints offense.
Are you starting anybody from that offense?
Yes, please. The answer is yes. Drew Brees.
Yeah, their implied total's 36, by the way.
So, Alvin Kamara, Super Camario himself, has been on. He's doing the Super Camario level things. Oh! He's grabbing that star power, but he's been sharing. Sharing is caring. That's what my kindergarten teacher taught me. He's been sharing his caring with Mark Ingram, who.
He's great.
Jason kept the faith.
He did.
I was getting a little shaky there on Mark Ingram.
I was upset. I even mentioned this in the studio. I was upset that Mark Ingram had such a good week because I wanted him to somehow stink last week, and then I could make up my start of the week against the Falcons. Because let me tell you, he should be everyone's start of the week. He's just too obvious. Like the Atlanta Falcons against the running back position, you play the running back against the Atlanta Falcons this year, and Mark Ingram's going to have a great week. So if he's on your bench, like Mike, you've got 4 great running backs in your league.
Mark
record.
Ingram is my RB2.
Right.
This week.
He's in.
He's your overall RB2.
What? No.
Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying like on my team, Jason talked about Melvin Gordon's my RB1. In my rankings, though, Mark Ingram.
I've got him number 7.
I've got him 12.
I have him at 4.
Yeah, I don't.
What?
Wow.
No.
That'll probably change. But right now I have Kamara at 1 and Ingram at 4 this week.
Wow.
Exactly.
Your algo loves him.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Goodness.
Yeah, the matchup's
It's juicy.
as good as it could get. And he's looked good.
So
and
let's-
if you combine those things, that's great.
Let's talk real quick. I mean, Michael Thomas, you're going to play him.
Yeah.
If Traquan Smith actually misses the game, which maybe he will, maybe he won't, does anyone else interest you from this team? Austin Carr as a steep sleeper? Does Benjamin Watson get more involved?
If Traquan is out, Benjamin Watson.
I'll glance Benjamin's way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give a glance.
Give a glance. A sweet romance. What? I love
Leave the rhyming to this guy.
I love Ben Watson. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I really love him. Let's move on to the Sunday games. All right, we're through Thanksgiving. You've had a few naps. Okay, probably more than a few. This is about the point in time right when Thanksgiving ends where I'm deciding one simple thing. First,
My coffee is so cold.
yeah, Mike is
This is
not
unbelievable.
happy. Baby Josh, can you
like
can
you
you
put
come
ice
in
in
here
it.
and get
There
him another
is.
cup of coffee? Baby Josh can do this live during the show.
Like if
This
I
is what
had
interns do.
if you guys have like a sprained ankle,
Yeah, you could put your
Or-
foot in.
I could pour this coffee on it and you're right as rain. This is ridiculous.
We need ice.
you-
Someone get this man
Come
an
on,
ice.
come on, baby.
The last bits
Come on,
of-
baby.
Fill
Come
it
on
up,
in.
man. I need all the power I can get.
You bought the wrong mug. You bought the wrong.
Clearly.
You bought the mug that.
Wait,
that
don't say
cool-
you bought the wrong mug. We're drinking out of our fantasy footballers mugs from shopballers.com.
No, I'm saying
You're talking bad about
he got
our product.
the cooling mug. He got the one that cools
I
it.
guess.
So what I was gonna say is this is the point when these games end where I'm deciding, do I want a 4th and 5th piece of pumpkin pie?
And the answer is always yes.
It is always yes, and then there is a little regret, but mostly sleep. Sunday games, the 2-8 Raiders take their winning streak on the road to take on the 5-5 Ravens. The Ravens are 11-point favorites, despite not knowing who their quarterback is right now, and they should be.
Wow. Vegas almost always refuses to put a line.
Right, when you don't know who the quarterback
Well-
is. We got to wait and find out.
They listened to the show, obviously. Vegas is very in tune with what we're doing here.
Yes.
And I said, look, your stream of the week is going to be whoever starts for Baltimore, and that's good enough for them. That's good enough for me. So let's start on the Baltimore side because it's more fun to talk about that side. Lamar Jackson, what's the ceiling? What's the floor for him if he starts this week? Because, Mike, you said you don't think Flacco's playing.
Correct.
Let's just presume Lamar Jackson's in there.
The ceiling is like the third quarterback because his ceiling is not going to be what like Drew Brees is able to do. You know, the top
multi-touchdowns.
Right. I mean, you thankfully you have no Goff, no Mahomes this week, so some of those big, huge multi-touchdown games are out. But he was 10th or
13.
Oh, he was 13th this last week without throwing a touchdown
Or running for one.
and having only 100 and something passing yards because of the stupid way that fantasy scores running for quarterbacks. But it does, and so exploit the system. Get the awful exploit that is Lamar Jackson. I love watching him play, but if he's in there, he's a fantastic start. And I literally had to stop for a second on my roster. I have Jameis Winston and Lamar Jackson.
Oh, no way.
No, but I had to consider.
Okay.
I mean, I went Jameis.
Oh, starting one or the other, that's fine to consider.
It would be Jameis easily for me.
Okay. But you have to at least acknowledge the fact that there's a world where Jameis struggles mightily and ruins your – you're not going to get ruined by Lamar Jackson if he starts the game. He's the least
fair.
ruinable quarterback because if he runs the ball at all, you're
gonna say,
fine.
if he throws 100 yards, 2 interceptions,
Yeah, and runs for 100.
he going to be just fine.
And here's the thing. I will say this. I think his ceiling is top 3 because I'm not starting a pass catcher for Baltimore because I don't know what part of the game plan they'll be. But when you have a player like John Brown, who's one of the best A-dot players in the league and can break a long touchdown, one throw, If you take Lamar Jackson's normal stat line and you give him one 60-yard touchdown to John Brown,
yeah, he's going to be.
He's a top 3 guy.
Absolutely.
So, but are you with me? Are you not starting any of the pass catchers?
Correct.
So then
for Baltimore?
Yeah, and so then it's Gus Bus.
For Baltimore,
yeah,
he
for
says.
Baltimore.
Go ahead and throw in the Raiders too. None of the pass
From this
catchers.
game?
Yeah.
The Raiders, the only player I'm thinking about, the only player I'm even glancing at is Jalen Richard.
Jared Cook. I think Jared Cook
Yeah,
is.
I would.
Yeah, that's fine because you can't. There's not a lot of options at
Right.
tight end.
I would play Jared Cook. And just real quick, let's talk about the Baltimore running backs. Alex Collins versus Gus Edwards. Where is your confidence boarding the Gus bus?
I've got Gus as an RB2 this week.
So you believe the switch has been made?
I believe the switch has been made. That's not to say Alex Collins will go away, but I have Gus ahead of Alex Collins in this week's rankings. And, yeah, I mean, I'm starting Gus Edwards, running back for the Ravens, in most situations this week.
I have them at 21 and 29 in case you want context for the separation.
Which order?
With Gus ahead.
So
as of right now.
So you would play Gus above all those guys we pumped the brakes on.
He's basically at that exact same position. I would actually, I have him just ahead of AP. So, the matchup's great. I mean, it's all about that matchup. If you had put them in a tougher matchup, then I'm not necessarily. Oh, Baby Josh just delivered some fresh coffee.
That's so warm.
Is it hot?
Oh,
It is piping hot.
This is great service.
Thank you, sir.
How do you feel contributing to the show like that, Baby Josh? So great.
He said so great.
Yeah.
No, they can't hear you.
Yeah. But I did ask him a question,
No, that is
I don't
true.
really blame him for answering it.
No.
Did we say you would play Richard
Yes.
for Oakland? Okay.
Yeah, I would play Richard.
Who would you rather play between Jalen Richard or Theo Riddick? Because it's not a great
Theo
matchup
Riddick.
for Theo.
I would
against the
play
Bears.
Theo.
Theoretic.
Okay.
Sheer volume of
Yep.
catches. And you just don't know what Gruden's going to do at the backfield. Although I was nice to see Richard get 14 touches and 11 carries. Like he's been the check down guy, but 11 carries is kind of nice. Maybe they're seeing what they got in him.
Yeah, I think that was more of the ankle injury for Doug Martin.
The 3-7 Jags take on the 3-7 Bills.
Wow, the Jaguars
Pretty
are
crappy week of
3-7.
football so far.
Yeah, I mean, focus on the food, people. The Bills +3, so they're 3-point underdogs at home. This is an atrocious 37.5 point over-under.
Oh, well, the thing is 37.5 point over-under.
Which is why I love both defenses. I love them.
And that's probably going to be your best plays in this game outside of Leonard Fournette and Shady. I think you could play both of those players because I don't expect either team to just get out to a monstrous lead. You have two pretty good defenses here. Even though the Bills have been much maligned, their defense –
I don't even play. I try everything in my power not to play Shady McCoy this week. With the way Jacksonville completely shut down James Conner last week and the fact that there's just – it's scary to me. I mean, obviously,
I get that.
Obviously, you're going to be in a position where you have to play him. But let me put it in perspective. I am at 31 on the week because I don't think he's matchup proof. Like LeSean McCoy's situation and the volume, it's concerning. And with Josh Allen coming back, he hasn't shown quite the propensity to throw the ball to McCoy the way that the other running backs had. I'm just bodying LeSean McCoy.
I get that. LeSean McCoy has not been a must-start every week, but his volume says that you can start him if you need to.
For me, the projecting for the volume is looking back at their last game, which was 2 weeks ago. The reason they were able to get him such incredible volume was because they weren't scared of that offense. They were that offense being the Jets and Josh McCown. I don't think Buffalo will be intimidated or they're not up against anything going against Blake Bortles and this Jacksonville offense. So
Do you have him much higher?
No, not necessarily, but I'm painting the picture where I think that McCoy is an okay play. I have him at 30, so not much higher than you, Andy.
Agreed. One spot higher.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, though, you can play him.
Yeah, you play Fournette.
He's been good since he's got back.
Yeah, I would not play Bortles. I would not stream him this week.
I got a snake, man.
He might have a snake, but the Bills are one of those teams
It's a
where
dead snake.
if you're not looking at the metrics and you're just thinking, oh, the Bills stink, I could play Blake Bortles, you're going to get that wrong because they've been lights out against quarterbacks.
13 fantasy points. That's what they're giving up right now to opposing quarterbacks.
And now they get Blake Bortles. So, it's not a week where you start Blake Bortles. And honestly, because of that, I don't want to take my shot on Moncrief, Westbrook, Keelan Cole.
I agree. Moncrief is a fine matchup play, flex player from time to time, but this is not it.
I'm going to bring one name up that we haven't given any respect to, but maybe we should have brought him up in the sea of tight ends. James O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
He actually had 5 receptions 2 weeks ago for 46 yards. He's been 3-5, 1 last week. Do you look his way at all?
Pass.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you got such a low over-under here. Pass.
The 5-5 Seahawks take on the 6-4 Panthers. Panthers are 3.5-point favorites, led by.
Oh.
Finally.
A game that you care about?
A game that I can stomach. I mean, this should be a good game.
Yeah, 47.5-point over-under. Cam Newton, Russell Wilson facing off in Carolina. Carolina, they've lost a couple in a row. It's a really big game for both teams, too. I mean, the Seahawks can go to 6-5. That would push the Panthers to 6-5. Or the Panthers can put the Seahawks in a tough playoff position with a win at home, and they are favorites. So there's a lot of kind of question marks in this game because fantasy owners don't know how to think about Doug Baldwin. They don't know how to think about DJ Moore, Devin Funchess. You're starting the big boys, right? Cam Newton, he's in there. Christian McCaffrey, he's in there. Do you feel that way about Chris Carson and Russell Wilson?
Yeah. I mean, I do feel that way about what we saw last week from Chris Carson coming off the injury. I was not expecting as big of things as he did. I know, Andy, you were very much expecting that. He's cemented, his role. If he is out there and healthy, they are giving him the ball nonstop. When he's been getting it, he's been efficient. And while the Carolina Panthers are pretty good against the run, I don't think that they are the defense of the last 5 years that we're so used to assuming onto the Panthers. So, yeah, I think Chris Carson – I mean, look, the Seahawks, if they could, they want 70 carries in this game. That is how Seattle wants to play football. And so Chris Carson's going to get the lion's share of that.
Okay, Mike, can you speak to DJ Moore, Devin Funchess, what you think is going to happen this week? I mean, the Seahawks defense it's been pretty good. And DJ Moore, while he exploded last week, can you count on him? There's a big difference between potential, right? Calvin Ridley is in that category, right? Like potential to have not everybody can have a 30-point game. DJ Moore can. But what do you expect from him this week?
I have DJ Moore 29 and Devin Funchess at 33. Funchess is completely vanished. There is nothing scrumptious about what is happening for him. DJ Moore, the ascension continues. The snaps are there. The opportunity is there. He's the only wide receiver for Carolina that I'm interested in. I mean,
I would not be surprised if Seattle puts up a decent amount of points on Carolina. So that could speak to DJ Moore being okay in this one.
And Seattle's going to put up some of the points against Carolina. Here's where I know it's going to happen. We're going to talk about this later. But, look, Carolina has given up 8 touchdowns to the tight end position.
Yes, Jason. So
I'm telling you, there is – hop on, my friends.
We need like a
yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson will be throwing a touchdown to a tight end in this game.
Okay. So would you say that
what would that tight end's name be, Jason, out of curiosity? Would it be Nick Vannett, or were you thinking somebody different?
I was thinking somebody different. I was thinking Yes, sir.
Dead?
I think Ed Dickson gets a touchdown in this game.
The best part is this is a revenge game.
Oh.
This is not just Red Dead Dickson. This is Red Dead Redemption Dickson.
Yes.
I mean, it's coming full circle here. Except you're wrong that Nick Vannett will be the one who catches the touchdown.
Yeah, I probably will be. I mean, that's the hard thing. I mean, we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Have you regained your trust in Doug Baldwin, and would you start him above Tyler Lockett? Baldwin, 7 for 52 and a touchdown, 10 targets last week. Is he climbing back into your good graces, and would you throw him out there over Lockett?
I have him ranked above Lockett. I saw enough. The double-digit targets, multiple targets into the into the end zone, which is what we've been missing from Doug Baldwin. So he's not like it's not an auto, oh, hey, Doug Baldwin's back in the top 15. I have him at 21 currently. So, yes, I will be playing Doug Baldwin.
All right. Anyone we're forgetting in that matchup, Brooks, you want us to talk about? Anybody that, I want to make sure you're happy.
It's not a
here.
great matchup for Greg Olsen, but you're going to start him
play
because at tight end he's still one of the best.
All right. Well, here we are. It's a megalodon, so I don't really feel guilty having two of these. But the 3-6-1 Browns take on the 5-5 Bengals. Now, wait. Hold on a second. Is this game in Cleveland? No, this game's in Cincinnati. I'm canceling. I had it backwards in my head.
All right. I'm laughing more at our editor, Kyle, who
yeah, he
gave
put
us
storylines for this game, and he threw in a big picture of Hugh Jackson because the Browns are taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. The Bengals are 3-point favorites. It's a 47.5-point over-under.
This is what they brought him in for, that sweet inside information.
Oh, my goodness. These teams are something else. Hugh Jackson, yes, he returns as a special assistant to Marvin Lewis as they assemble the most impressive coaching staff. Who do they need to add to this?
Fisher?
Let's say
Fisher
the Fantastic Four. John
and
Fox. John Fox,
Yes.
Jeff Fisher, Marvin Lewis.
Oh, my goodness. If we could
Shout out to Mike McCoy, though. I mean, he needs to be in there as
Yeah,
well.
I don't think he's gotten to the level, though,
Yeah.
of John Fox and Fisher.
Wonder if they can trade for Gruden, get him in there.
No,
too.
wait, Gruden's awesome.
You leave Gruden where
yeah,
he is.
he's on.
For 10 more years. 10 more years.
Wow. All right, so Baker coming off the bye.
Love him.
Nick
I
Chubb.
do, too. I absolutely
Love Nick Chubb.
Jarvis Landry.
Baker. Oh, that's where it
I
stops.
like him.
David Njoku.
I will play him.
You can 100% play David and Joe.
You could play all four of those guys. I mean,
Yes.
the Bengals defense right now. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe Hugh Jackson's going to fix it?
The Bengals?
Correct.
No.
Okay.
No.
They're 32nd in the league against opposing fantasy quarterbacks.
Oh,
they're
they're
30th
broken.
against running backs. They're 26th against wide receivers. They're 29th against tight end.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
They're broken.
yeah.
Broken.
Yes.
So, this is a pretty exciting game for fantasy owners. Joe Mixon. You expect big things going up against the Browns defense. He's at home.
Yeah,
the Browns are giving up a lot.
The Browns defense is exciting, but they're not that great.
They had a nice game against Atlanta, obviously.
Yeah, they make some good plays and they have some good games, but overall, if you look at what they've done for fantasy purposes, they haven't really shut out anybody. They're middle of the pack against quarterbacks, and they're bottom of the pack against everything else. Joe Mixon should have a fantastic game.
Wow, you're going with fantastic.
Yeah, I really like Joe Mixon. You're at home, you're favored, you're super talented, and the matchup isn't one that is very scary. The difference between, and I know a lot's been said about it, I don't know if we've talked about it as much, but the Browns seem to be a very different team home and away. You know, that
Sure.
Cleveland has not been the same team both places, so I think Joe Mixon has a great game, and I agree with Andy canceling his almost upset here.
Joe Mixon, number 8 on the week for me. I don't know where he is for you guys, but I agree with that. I think it's going to be a nice game for Joe Mixon. I think Jarvis Landry can get back on track in this game. He's been just spotty is the best way to put it. He's still talented, but the rapport and trust with Baker, it takes time with a rookie. And coming off the bye, you want to hope that they've built on that, right? You got a couple weeks to work on it.
The interesting thing is it's almost been the inverse of that because he was all the targets were going to Jarvis Landry. There wasn't necessarily a lot of production that came with all those targets. But since they've kind of renovated the offense the past 2 weeks, 7 targets, 5 targets. And in that game where they dominated Atlanta, he was 2 receptions for 22 yards. So I think you can.
Yeah, Nick
play.
Chubb was giving him the finger, though.
Yes.
At that point in time.
Dub. And to be fair, I think he was just warming
it
those up.
For this week.
Yes.
Would you rather start Baker Mayfield in this matchup or Andy Dalton in this matchup? And does that depend on A.J. Green starting?
100% depends on A.J. Green.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have the home quarterback if A.J. Green's back, for sure.
Agreed.
And then
Right now I have Baker ahead.
if Green's out, do you start John Ross? He only had 1 catch last week, but it was a touchdown, which seems to be his thing. He's like,
Yeah.
it's like, how efficient can I be?
Well, when you're a touchdown or bust player, you want a lot of those touchdowns, and he doesn't have them. So he's got a lot of busts.
Yeah.
And I don't like that in my fantasy players. I'm staying away from John Ross.
All right, we're going to pause the middle of this fantasy forecast, and we're going to jump right in to the starts of the week.
Starts of the week.
All right, starts of the week. Let's kick it off right here, right now. I am going to double down on those Ravens quarterbacks. I'm going with Flacco or Mr. Lamar Jackson, whoever starts. Who
it doesn't matter.
I think it's going to be Lamar Jackson.
You're the Rock right now.
I don't care. I'm taking the Oakland matchup at home. They got to win this game. They're massive favorites. And like I said, it takes one play to turn Lamar Jackson into a top 3 guy. And even if he doesn't get that play, he's a top 12 guy. My start of the week, Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson / Joe Flacco.
Fair enough. Mine, I'm giving people another little stream action. Because, it could have been Baker, who's like a fringe quarterback, 1. Maybe Phillip Rivers, who's right on the edge. But I want to give people another option. Maybe you missed out on Jameis Winston. I have confidence in Nick Mullens this week. The matchup is absolutely juicy against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everyone is putting...
That's your word of the year, by the way.
Juicy?
Players have juice. Matchups are juicy. You're really into juice this year.
Well, me and oranges.
Were you a big OJ fan?
No, it's fine. I like lemonade.
No pulp.
No. Oh, what? Who puts pulp in?
If people like pulp, I don't like you.
You don't like me, Jason?
Oh, you like pulp?
Look, I will strain all of the Kleenex pieces out of your orange juice, and I will give you superior
Let me
orange
ask
juice.
you, though, Brooks, is this just if you had 2 glasses of freshly squeezed orange juice sitting on the table, and one had pulp and one did not?
Great
Are
question,
you telling
Andy.
me you would choose the pulpy one?
Great question. Which one
That's
would you
the real
prefer?
question.
Probably not.
Oh,
I don't
all right.
mind
Then I
it.
can like you.
I don't mind it.
You're not an animal.
There's better ways to get your fiber.
Yeah, eating carpet. I mean, it doesn't even matter. That's better. All right, where are we at?
The best part was I was actually asking. I was inferring he was a fan of the running back.
Ah, yes.
Right.
I don't think you're allowed to say yes to that question.
No, the answer is no. Look, San Francisco against Tampa Bay, that over-under, it's 55 points.
Oh!
Oh, Mullens!
Mullens magic.
And I think that he can have the magics with talk about the one play to John Brown. Tampa Bay's giving up huge plays all the time. Marquise Goodwin, you're telling me there's not a decent probability he hits this
Goodwin
week?
was in consideration for my start of the week. We haven't talked about that matchup, but why would you not start Goodwin in a matchup like this? If you can't now, then you can never.
Jason needs
I'm
his
very
quarterback.
excited about Jason's No, I know. It's a segue. I'm going into I was just going to say I like what you're doing with your start, Jason.
Thank you. I am giving confidence to a guy who, if you've had him, he has been really hurting you. And a lot of people have dropped him, rightfully so. But Kirk Cousins is still a very good quarterback. He is at home. He's playing against Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the field, who will be a quarterback that can probably score on the Minnesota Vikings defense.
Wow, you've downgraded him to probably?
I know. I felt like that was a huge insult too.
That is how I feel. I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers will probably be okay against the Minnesota Vikings, but I can't guarantee that. But I think he will. And this is a game where there should be enough points going at home, good quarterback, good matchup. I don't want you to get too cute and say, well, I can't start Kirk Cousins. I'm going to start Nick Mullens over Kirk Cousins. No.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Kirk is still a top, 8 player this week, so he's my start of the week.
I think it's important to say that because people have asked me a lot this past week about Kirk Cousins. How do you treat him? And a lot of people drafted Russell Wilson. They've treated them as every week starters, and that's got them into trouble. They should be treated as matchup plays. And this is a matchup that is a positive, favorable matchup for Kirk Cousins. I'm with you. It's disappointing. He's only got 2 games the entire season with more than 2 touchdowns. That's the disappointing part. With those weapons, you would have figured you'd get more than that.
Yes.
But this is a week where you could. At the running back position, I'm going with Matt Breida. Matt Breida takes on Tampa. Mike just outlined all the fun parts about that Tampa game, a 55 point over under. And the coaching staff has shown confidence in Breida. He had his season high in carries the last time he was out on the field. And guess what? He tried to play during the bye week, but they didn't let him. So he was forced. I mean, he tried to go skiing, skateboarding. He tried to do whatever he could, but he was forced into getting healthier. And that's only good for Matt Breida. I think he's a great start this week.
I loved those 4 targets as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So he is
last time he played.
He's up at number 12 for me. He's an RB1 this week.
I don't mind it. My starts of the running back position, I mentioned I was getting hot and heavy because he's just getting warmed up. Hopefully you joined me, Foot Clan, and you dropped the entire rest of your fab on Nick Chubb because he's been nothing short of fabulous. The matchup is once again incredible against the Cincinnati Bengals. They're just getting ruined by fantasy running backs. I have Nick Chubb as a top 5 option this week. That's how confident I am in Nick Chubb.
Yeah, my start of the week this week for the running back position is Marlon Mack, a player that I was so excited about coming into the year and then got injured and
had a couple huge weeks.
Had a couple huge weeks, and I mean, really, if you look at his pace since he's been here, he's had not every week has been great, right? I mean, he's had a couple weeks that have been mediocre over the course of the season, going back to like game 2 of the season when he got injured and had 10 rushing attempts, 34 yards, or, not everything's been great. But if you take all of what he's done this season, including those bad games, and you look at his pace, he's on pace for 1,200 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. He's on a great offense, and he's playing against the Dolphins, who are the 28th ranked, against fantasy running backs. Marlon Mack is a must play. He is a must start. I have him, as of this recording, I have him one spot ahead of Joe Mixon at number 9 in my running back rankings. I can't imagine sitting Marlon Mack in this matchup at home favored. He's just been unbelievable.
People frequently ask us about our league of record and how things are going.
Did you just see me?
And Andy and Jason tried to be cheapskates.
I have no fab.
Oh, you don't?
Are you talking about Jameis Winston?
I am talking about Jameis Winston.
Yeah, all of our waiver wires just went through as the show was going.
You got him for $1?
I have Mitch Trubisky. I was just absolutely liquid in my pants heading into this weekend. Because this is you know how I feel, Foot Clan. You got to win this week. There is huge implications. I needed a quarterback. Jameis was there. I thought there would be at least a few contenders going for him, but I got him for my final dollar of fab.
Oh, I have no. I put in a bunch of bids on players.
I have $1 left. I could have competed. I would have got him.
I really thought you would as well. And Jason is fist pumping for something.
My goodness!
What'd you get?
Part of my. Amazing timing. Part of my start of the week was who's coming with me, because I assumed I was going to be starting the start of the week, but I don't have to. I get to start Andy's start of the week for $0 of fab. I was able to pick up Cameron Brate.
Wow. For $0?
I had O.J. Howard go down, and I'm like, this is a must-win week. Crap. I'm going to go with someone.
To be fair, you only got him because I got Jameis. I would have gotten Brate for $1.
So, yeah, and I was breathing a sigh of relief. I brought it up on the show yesterday. I have Pat Mahomes. My backup in Dynasty was Alex Smith. In a Dynasty league,
Did you get Colt?
I got Colt McCoy.
Okay.
I actually signed Colt McCoy and Chase Daniel. I have both because I didn't think I'd get McCoy, so I redundantly bid. I was going to have to start Taysom Hill as my quarterback this week in a must-win. So I'm breathing a little easier. Let's talk about let's just do that. Tight end start of the week. It's Cameron Brate. That's my start of the week this week.
I love it, Andy.
Howard is out. Winston's best friend is Cameron Brate. They skip around the local mall together. They get froyo together. Cameron Brate, he is very capable, right? I mean, he's been a fantasy stud before. He's a top 8 guy for me. I think I have him at 7 this week. I do. Yep, number 7. So I love him. Cameron Brate against San Francisco. You can start him with some confidence.
Yeah, I love it. Look, my start of the week, I assumed I was going to have to use this guy and say who's coming with me.
It's so
scary.
stupid.
It's scary.
Scary and stupid both start with the letter S. That's for sure.
It's a glory play, okay? This is not the guy that I'm saying, he's locked and loaded top 10. I'm saying he has the chance.
At least pivot to the right one.
If I could pivot to you're saying Nick
the right
Manette.
Seattle tight end.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is my start of the week is more Seattle tight end against Carolina. But
hedge.
I am not hedging. It will be Ed Dickson with the touchdown in the end zone, clue style.
That's where
and with the football.
With the football.
With the football in the
You're a
end zone,
lunatic.
Ed Dickson.
Ed Dickson, lunacy.
Hey, you got to call your shots.
But you know what? You've got a magic touch. And
hey, look, Ed Dickson played.
I'm sure he'll have like 6 touchdowns this week.
He played a season high in snaps at 41%.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Bet you really like that. My tight end start of the week, baby hands, Jack Doyle. I like the Colts this week against Miami. Look,
I like him too.
It finally happened. The house of cards that is Eric Ebron's fantasy production finally tumbled. Not that he can't get back on track with his sweet 2 targets for 2 touchdowns, but at the tight end position, I'm going to take Jack Doyle and his volume. I think that Miami will they can be beat at the tight end position, and Jack Doyle should come through with at least 6 receptions this week.
All right. I'm actually going to go with Tyler Boyd as my wide receiver start of the week, taking on Cleveland. I think A.J. Green's going to be back out there, but Tyler Boyd, he's better with Green on the field, eating up the middle of the field, the targets. I think that Tyler Boyd's going to have a really solid week. I want you to have confidence to start him again.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, Kenny Golladay, I believe in his talent. I believe in the opportunity. I realize the defense can go over, and so it's a scary play. And if you are worried, I am not. So I'm making Kenny Golladay my start of the week. I think he's going to have an awesome turkey day. Matthew Stafford's always good for a couple touchdowns. Where are they going to go? If not Kenny, who?
Nice. And mine, similar to your Kirk Cousins, reestablish the confidence. My wide receiver start of the week is Alshon Jeffery. The New York Giants the past 6 weeks are ranked 24th against fantasy wide receivers, giving up over 33 points a game to the position. And I think that the Eagles and Alshon Jeffery get things back on track, so you can start Alshon with confidence.
All right, it's time for
Jason Moore's ironclad, locked and loaded, 100% guaranteed boom boom kicker of the week.
Last week, I eviscerated Graham Gano like I was Thanos. Let's hope I don't do it this week to Tampa Bay's Cairo Santos.
I'm going to be
You
honest.
did, by the way, and there are the kickers in the NFL. They're all on a group chat, and
They
just
do not want to be my boom
they
boom.
are just praying.
When you were giving look, that's top notch.
Thank you.
That's incredible. Bill Shakespeare is like, wow, good rhyme. It sounded like you were a little bit hesitant of what team Cairo Santos is actually on.
He's played for a couple different teams recently.
For
Tampa Bay.
Poor guy just got a job,
And now he is
and you
going to
condemned
miss
him.
everything. And Foot Clan,
Graham Gano was so bad last week.
keep in mind, and I have to say this once every 4 or 5 or 6 weeks because we're always gaining new Foot Clan members, new listeners who are coming, and they don't understand that the reason I have a boom boom kicker of the week is because I hate the kicker position. I want to get rid of it. I put in no work. This is a blindfolded dart throw, but trust me, locked and loaded, 100% guarantee. You must start Cairo Santos this week.
That's exactly
You don't
right.
have to be humble, Jason. Your kicker analysis is second to none.
It is second to none.
Yeah.
It has the best front and back bumper any segment has ever had. We're getting into the rest of the fantasy forecast. We got Daily Dose. Before we get into this next matchup, I do want to invite everybody out there listening to come join our community at jointhefoot.com. 7,000 plus Foot Clan listeners. Fantasy football. And I just went on a podcast the other day, and I kind of reiterated this because somebody asked me the question. They said, what are all the resources you use to do analysis and research? And, it's really a combination of a lot of different things that we do here to try to be as accurate as possible. That's one of the pillars of this show. We want to be entertaining. We want to be accurate. And we want to bring you the highest quality production we can. But part of our approach to this show is built around our passion for the game, our passion for fantasy football, and why people like it to begin with. They do not like fantasy football because it involves spreadsheets. It does involve spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
That is not why you love it.
No, sir.
I mean, maybe like one or two of you, like former Honeywell
people-
employees.
I
Some
kind
people
of
like it.
I kind of like
I like that
part.
part too. But here's the thing. You're in it because we started this podcast when we originated years and years ago. It actually started as a podcast for our league.
12 people.
For 12 people. Mike and I got on their microphones and insulted and mocked our league mates.
You sure did.
And it was
a blast.
entertaining. It was fun. And the reason why this show exists is because of the community. It's because of
The fun.
sitting around a lunch table talking about it incessantly. You want more people to talk. You love it, so you want to talk about it. That's what the 7,000 Foot Clan people do at jointhefoot.com year-round. That's why this show's year-round. It's because we love it. It's fun. It's all about the community, and we try to give back to you with a number of various perks, an extra episode every week, all year long. And that episode, I'll be honest with you, it's a little more loose. We answer your questions no matter what they are. Let's put it that way. You want to ask about anything? You want to keep, trade, cut, Thanksgiving Day sides? We're going to debate that on that episode. It's a lot of fun. So check it out at jointhefoot.com. We invite you to join that community, get exclusive access to our forum of only Foot Clan members and a ton of other perks. If you've never looked at it, check it out. It's a great way to support the show.
It also gains you access to all of our premium resources on the site. So you want to see our consistency charts. You want to use the 4-player start-sit tool. All those things, they're there for the entirety of the Foot Clan.
Absolutely. All right, let's turn the page here. Let's look at this game. The 7-3 Patriots take on the reeling 3-7.
Yeah, that's a mirror match.
Jets. The Jets are 9.5-point home underdogs, and this is a 46-point over/under. So obviously, the Patriots had a disappointing performance, sans Rob Gronkowski, against the Titans 2 weeks ago. They're coming off the bye. And they get to play a Jets team that struggled, and we don't even know who their quarterback's going to be, whether it's Sam Darnold or Josh McCown. All the bets would be on a rebound game for the Patriots, right? And a struggle for the Jets. Do you see anything going different on that game script?
I could see things going different, given the fact that the game is, it's in New York. And the Jets, similar to the Bills, have had those weird games where every now and then they show up and they're just fire. They're just motivated. And the Patriots, sometimes you get up and get motivated. So I could see it happening. I don't expect it to happen. The reality is, from a fantasy football perspective, especially with the quarterback situation for New York, there's virtually no one from New York you can start. If you want to talk Isaiah Crowell and Elijah McGuire, they're at least running backs that get volume. But the Patriots usually take out your number one option, and that's like their only option. So, I mean, are either of you wanting to start Crowell or Elijah McGuire? Do you see something here that the Patriots defense, the Patriots are going to be up, they're going to check down the ball?
Elijah McGuire is a fringe deep league flex.
Yeah, I would rather play McGuire. I reluctantly, in our Dynasty League, it's a two additional flex. I have to play Isaiah Crowell, and
I'm playing Elijah McGuire in that same league because of that depth.
A few tears playing you guys.
Few tears streamed down my face as I clicked the submit lineup.
Yeah, it's gonna be
what
painful.
What about Chris Herndon? The Patriots, they've been at least a little susceptible to the tight end position. Chris Herndon came through with a few big fantasy games, even though he's not getting incredible volume. Do you have any interest in streaming him?
Chris Herndon is the same as Ed Dickson. He is
I was going to say Andy.
That's not true.
Herndon
that's
or
Ed
True.
Dixon.
That is 100%
That's not very true because he's on the field for tons of snaps, and he has look 4 receptions, 3 receptions.
They are identical in the sense that they are a fantasy glory play that logically makes sense based on matchup, but that you don't necessarily want to use because the volume is still not there for either player. That's how I'm saying they're identical.
Yeah, and I'm just disagreeing with you.
So you think Herndon...
Chris Herndon is the starting tight end for his team. That's step one in the right direction. Ed Dickson, is he the starting tight end for his team?
I would rather be the third-tier wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams than the number 1 wide receiver for the Bills.
Waterbed.
You can't turn that waterbed down.
Is this Herndon
Of
Ed
course
Dickson?
it's Herndon Dixon. Because
no problem.
You can't turn it down because you made Ed Dixon your start of the week.
Yep,
Did
done.
you just hear that out loud?
I heard it.
Yeah.
You Herndon it?
I heard it.
No, bad joke.
No, that's great.
Bad. James White.
I made
Sony
Brooks
Michel.
smile.
Yeah, Brooks, you need to weigh in.
It's not hard to do.
What you should have done, you would have said you
No, by
earned it.
now.
If you said you earned it, I would have laughed.
All right.
Yeah. James White, Sony Michel.
Yes.
Yes, as in you don't care about how things are trending for these guys. They'll both get on track.
No, you're coming off of the bye week. Sony Michel has now had plenty of time to get back. And the matchup in their previous 2 weeks ago, Week 10, the Tennessee Titans, we kind of already highlighted how strong they are against the run. And it was a very surprise negative game script for Sony Michel with the Patriots being favored by nearly 10 points. And me buying into that, I think that Sony Michel is back on track of being a 15-plus touch guy.
You remember how I have that rule about the stampede?
Yes.
Like you don't ever jump in front of a stampede.
Yeah, great.
One of my other rules that I'm implementing now is I want to win one Ed Dickson related bet a week.
Okay.
So
you're gonna need, just so you know, you're gonna need to bet on Ed Dickson then.
No,
to win
I don't
those
think so.
bets.
Historically speaking, I've won all Ed Dickson bets. Which is going to make his touchdown so painful.
So great.
Josh Gordon, before the bye, he saw 12 targets but only 4 receptions. Are you expecting big things in this game from Josh Gordon? And is he your favorite of the wide receivers to start for New England?
No, I would rather start Julian Edelman.
Really?
Mike was nodding and about to say yes, so you guys disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I think Edelman is.
I have them back-to-back in rankings.
I do as well, but I've got Edelman one spot ahead of Gordon. And they're both kind of wide receiver twos, so I'm okay starting either guy. I'm not anti-Gordon. But you just don't know. I mean, look, Gronk is coming back. At least that's what it appears to be at this point, as Brooks is wincing like, oh, do we know that? I believe Gronk is going to be back. And when he is, if the offense is clicking and things are going well, it could go to any one of those 3 guys. I think Gronk will get his. Julian Edelman usually gets his more than
I think
Josh Gordon.
Gronk, if he takes away from any of the wide receivers, Gronk takes away from Julian Edelman, as they play the same area of the field. If you have 2 guys who are similarly ranked, they're both wide receiver 2s, why not go with the guy whose ceiling is 150 yards and 2 touchdowns?
Well, the ceiling's baked into where I have him ranked.
It should be encouraging for fantasy owners to know that the Buffalo Bills had 234 receiving yards by their wide receivers
against the Jets
last time. 38.5 fantasy points. It'll be an interesting game, no doubt about it. Tom Brady is a quarterback what this week?
I think
is he a 1?
Yeah, he's a quarterback 1.
Yeah, I have him at 8.
Yep.
Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson this week.
Tom Brady.
Brady.
Okay.
I don't like the Tennessee matchup.
The 3-7 Giants take on the 4-6 Eagles. The Eagles are 6-point home favorites. That's mighty tempting right there. And that's the way the Eagles are playing right now. Giants actually do have a winning streak. They've won their last 2.
This is a get-right game.
Mike, because I did not bid $1 fab to take Jameis Winston away from you, I'm starting Eli Manning in place of Pat Mahomes this week. Last week he was my start of the week. Played pretty well. I'm stacking him with Odell Beckham Jr. And look, Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr. If you want us to talk more about them, I'm sorry. There's not much to say. You play them each and every week, all the time, twice on Sunday.
But the Eagles have a good defense.
Had.
But the Eagles had a good defense.
Yeah, exactly. It's
is
tough in the streets for Philadelphia right now with that secondary.
Do you think they cover that 6-point spread against the Giants? Do you think they get back on track against them?
I do.
Okay.
I think that the Giants' defense will not stop the Eagles' offense in Philadelphia.
I'll take the over. I don't know about the point spread, but I'll take the over on the 46.
I agree.
Eli, 95% passer last week.
Yes. Yeah,
now he gets to face
dominant.
an Eagles secondary that is absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, we talked about
and has already given up 36.5 fantasy points a game to the wide receiver. Odell Beckham Jr. Has a chance to be number 1 this week. I've got him at 3 right now. And then Saquon Barkley with the pass catching, his ability, the way he's ascending, he would be the one to worry about, so to speak, because the Eagles had been pretty darn good against fantasy running backs.
Yeah,
but that is
zero concerns.
Yeah, it's just
speaking of massive concerns, though, Evan Engram, who I have no idea what is going on with the New York Giants and their – well, I guess we know because it's got to be run blocking based that Evan Engram is off the field, which is just, I think, silliness by this team. But we've seen his snaps just absolutely deteriorate since he's been back from his injury the past 3 weeks. 88%, 61%, 32%, talking about his snap share.
And Rhett Allison's out there all the time.
You can't count on Evan Engram. He can give you the big play and save it and put up an entire week's worth of fantasy production in one catch. But I want opportunity, and Evan Engram is not getting it. How, Jason? I'm going to get a temperature check from you. You're the resident Sterling Shepard guy. The past 3 weeks combined, he is 8 for 65
with a touchdown.
I will give you the touchdown. But how are you feeling about Sterling Shepard? Eli was dominant, but it was super low volume this past week. And
yeah, I mean,
how are you feeling?
I'm feeling sad about how he has performed, but I still believe in the talent. And this matchup everything we're saying positive for Odell Beckham applies here for Sterling Shepard. The secondary of the Eagles is completely banged up. Everything I believe about the Eagles bouncing back on offense, Carson Wentz going from his worst game of his career to Philadelphia to that crazy rabid hometown crowd that is not going to accept him failing. If the Eagles put up points and the Giants have to come put up points against this beat-up secondary, I think Sterling Shepard is still a fine play. Now, I've got him as a wide receiver 3 this week, so he's not like this start of the week must start, but the matchup says that the volume can be there, that he can beat this secondary, and I'm fine playing Sterling Shepard in that flex role.
It's been difficult, according to Eagles offensive coordinator Mike Groh, to incorporate Golden Tate into the offense. Now, Tate did lead.
Oops.
He did lead the team in targets last week, but it hasn't looked pretty. I mean, Philadelphia's plan for Tate was to bring him alongside Alshon, Aguilar, Ertz, and complement an offense that was going forward towards the playoffs. I mean, if they don't win this game, their season's done.
Yeah, it's certainly. A quick aside.
They'll be tied with the Giants if the Giants win this game, just for the record.
Do you guys know what the Eagles offensive coordinator calls his car?
Oh, no.
It's the Mike Groh machine.
Yes.
That was
the perfect introduction of the new cricket sound effect. Thank you, Andy, for playing that.
Oh, is that what I was supposed to label the button with? Because I labeled it Mike.
Yeah, no, that works. Oh, man, that was a cricket situation.
I need a ruling from the gallery.
Oh, I don't think you want that.
No, I want it.
Brooks?
I was looking for the cricket drop.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate, in part, I appreciate you wanting to dive back into the Micro Machine reference of the distant past. Those were very entertaining.
In part, I appreciate that you were willing to die on that joke for the cricket sound effect.
For hundreds of thousands of people to hear that.
It was good. I stand by it.
I'm sure Twitter will get your back.
You know what it was, Mike? You didn't just throw it in. You set it up.
Oh, yeah, you set it up.
You basically stepped up to the plate.
You put it on the tee is what he did. He put
the
ball on a tee, but then he missed it. And when you strike out on a tee.
To be fair, his parents set it up by naming him Mike. I'm just digging through this to the other side, fellas.
You really are. And you're continuing to miss. Josh Adams is our consensus running back 28 this week. That would put him in flex consideration. Would you start him over LaShawn McCoy, Frank Gore, Duke Johnson?
Over Shady? I don't know about Frank Gore.
Yeah, if Kenyon Drake, I mean, that's a health thing with him.
Yeah.
If Kenyon Drake happens to miss this game, then Frank Gore goes from you can play him in a pinch to you should probably put Frank Gore in a lineup just based on volume.
I think I'd play Adams over all those guys. I I agree there'd be some assessment there if Drake missed, but Giants defense 23rd against fantasy running backs, 24 points a game. Josh Adams had the big play, and they continue to give him the ball.
Yeah, I am fine with Adams. I don't think he's a bad play.
Mike talked about Alshon. You got the confidence.
I do.
All right.
And I really like that. I love that start of the week. I made a note here just looking at my rankings and the matchup and everything that to bump Alshon up, because a lot of times there's just so much recency bias, and the Eagles looked bad last week, so then we don't have these guys a little high enough in rankings just from what we saw, and this should be a great week for Alshon. So I like that call.
Ooh, quick update while we're here.
Yes,
Kenyon Drake is practicing again in a non-contact jersey.
Huh.
Because you were talking about Frank Gore. So.
Yeah.
What is his injury?
Shoulder.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Because I was wondering, that sounds a lot like one of those, hey, let's not hurt a rib, let's not hurt a shoulder before game time. I bet he's active based on that report. You hope so. You're playing Mr. Kenyon Drake?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, you made a little dynasty trade for him. We were all surprised.
The problem
You kind of paid up for him.
the problem
I
we've
did.
seen.
Big Drake fan? You like the Drake?
Yes.
Love the Drake?
You call him on his cell phone?
Love the Drake.
No,
Yeah. How does it feel?
feels pretty good.
It feels bad.
The 2-8 49ers.
Wait. We also have an update here from our community tab poll from last episode on YouTube.
Yeah, break it down.
So we had this whole debate about Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, are they Hall of Famers? So we had 4 options. Eli gets in, Phillip Rivers should get in, both should get in, or neither should get in. The leading poll option from you, Foot Clan, over on YouTube on the community tab is that both should be inducted. Second place is that only Phillip Rivers should be inducted. Very few people believe only Eli should be inducted.
Huh.
And then about a quarter of you think that neither should be inducted, and I would agree with a quarter of you.
Very interesting.
It's always a fun hypothetical game to play where you say, okay, what if – like Eli was originally going to be a Charger. I mean, he said he wouldn't go there. And Phillip Rivers, if he was a Giant, would he have been capable of winning them those 2 titles?
Yes.
I think both will get in.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say yes because we all believe Phillip Rivers is a better pure quarterback than Eli Manning.
Yes.
But being a better pure quarterback and being a better clutch quarterback, those can be different things.
It's true.
So the 2-8 49ers take on the 3-8 Buccaneers. This game is
3-7.
a 55. What did I say?
3-8.
Oh, soon to be. No, this is a 3.5 point line. The Buccaneers favored, 55-point over/under, and we talked about Nick Mullens already.
This is a great implied team total for the San Francisco 49ers. The last few weeks, Vegas has not expected much production coming out of the 49ers offense, but this week should be a great back-and-forth fun affair between 2 offenses that can do enough on the field against 2 defenses that can't for some fantasy fun. I brought up Marquise Goodwin earlier. I think he's a great,
Great flex play.
a great flex play.
Yes.
One of those guys where you're just shooting for a really big game. Any Goodwin or Deshaun Jackson, also a great play in the same matchup. Those type of guys, you look for the matchups where there's going to be a high over/under because that usually is helped out by one of those bomb touchdowns. So I like both of those players in this game.
I think you're right. I mean, ultimately, T.J. Hernandez, by the way, threw this out there. The Tampa Bay quarterbacks are averaging the 9th most fantasy points per game ever.
Woo!
So
That's $1 well spent
I was going
by
to say
me.
maybe $1 well spent for Mike, but can he finish the game?
Yes.
Can he actually help Deshaun Jackson become productive is the question. Because when this happened, I've got Deshaun Jackson flexing in this week in a dynasty league, and I just grimaced. I just said,
Yes.
he's got Jameis.
You certainly should have, because Jameis Winston loves Mike Evans. He loves Cameron Brate, and
he likes big guys.
Well, and also a good friend of the show, Mike Taglier, shout out to Tags, who says Adam Humphries, since week 8 in PPR formats, is the wide receiver 13, pronounced with an Humphries.
Double up.
Double up.
Since week what?
Since week 8.
So 8, 9, 10, 11?
Just saying that.
I don't know if I buy in.
In football terms, that's, well, You never buy into Humphries, but he puts up points.
Not always.
It's really hard.
He doesn't always put up points.
Yeah, he does not always put up points.
I feel like you're Beasling me right now. I don't
Yeah,
want to be.
it's
I don't want to
the
be
best
forced
analogy.
into a Beasles.
As soon as you do buy in, then he
is absolutely Beasley. He is Cole Beasley, and a lot of the whole he's been the wide receiver 13 comes from 3 weeks ago at Carolina when he had all of the touchdowns. And he
Okay,
had a
well, how
monstrous game.
about this? Since week 6, he is averaging. These are not wide receiver 13 numbers, but he's averaging 4.5, 65 yards, and half a touchdown per game.
Look, I get it.
Those are solid flex
all
numbers.
those numbers you're throwing me in a small sample size, though, have built him up to be the 39th ranked wide receiver on the season. So here's the problem. Look at week 4 against Chicago. Okay, 6 for 36.
Yes.
That's the Beasley line. And
Sure.
now I'm not saying, look at 2 weeks ago, 2 for 53, 6 points. Like he loves 6 points. 6 points is what he aims for. If he accidentally scores a touchdown, he's disappointed in himself.
My point of bringing up Adam Humphries was more the descension we've seen from Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, that would be a good question, I guess. Would you rather play Adam Humphries than Mike? You've been
Yes, I would.
over Deshaun Jackson.
It depends on what I need. You got to take a look at your roster. Do you need that nitro button in your flex? But if I need that safe, what I think can be 8 to 10 points with some upside because Humphries has been catching some touchdowns, I would play Humphries.
We've talked about a lot of these players already. We talked about essentially, Matt Breida, start of the week, 132-2 the last time he was out on the field. Nick Mullens, Mike, you really like him. Marquise Goodwin, Jason, you said, look, he's got a great shot at a big play. He's definitely a shoot for the moon type of guy.
And oh, by the way, because people will be mad we didn't say his name, you should play George Kittle.
Yes.
There's your analysis.
Number 1, tight end on the week.
I don't blame you.
Anybody else from this matchup you want to discuss the
Nope.
merits of?
Pierre Garçon did not practice.
Oh no,
on
we
Monday.
should actually no.
Dante Pettis
We need to
back
talk
out
about
there?
Peyton Barber.
Oh, certainly.
Last week, over 100 yards and a score on the ground. The 49ers the past 6 weeks are 18th against the position. That's not a bad play.
Look, it feels really good how bad Ronald Jones has been for fantasy this season.
You're kicking a man when he's down. He's not even playing.
Yeah, it's really kind of a.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
I'm 100%. No, I need to reconsider.
Did you expect him to score more points when he was inactive?
No, but I definitely expected him to not be healthy scratches throughout the year. But I'm happy that it's
He
happened.
hasn't done that since like the 3rd week.
Yeah, he. Look, it's not been a good year.
We don't need to talk about Ronald Jones.
Yes, fair.
But I like to.
Okay.
If you look at him, though, he's averaging 1 touchdown per game if you look at just the game from the 21st of October.
That's a really good sample size there.
So, yeah, you're really missing the mark there.
But yes,
Okay.
Peyton Barber is a good play. I mean,
I agree. RB2 or flex, though?
I've got Peyton Barber right now as running back 24, so he is the last RB2.
Peyton Barber, Adrian Peterson.
Peyton Barber.
The Cardinals at 2-8 take on the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 7-3. They are 12-point favorites in this matchup. They just lost to the Denver Broncos due to some very poor clock management at the end of that game. A 45-point over-under. The must-starts in this game include David Johnson, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, and Phillip Rivers. Is there another must-start on either roster? Jason, you just started Larry Fitzgerald last week. He had 2 catches, but both were touchdowns. Are you staying away from him on the road?
Yeah, on the road. I mean, I loved Larry last week, got the multi-touchdowns, but no, on the road, Larry's not the same player at this stage of his career. This isn't a good matchup to boot. So if you've got a bad matchup on the road with Josh Rosen as your starting quarterback, that's 3 strikes, you're out. No, I'm not starting Larry Fitzgerald.
All right. Very well. Ricky Seals-Jones, you out on him, Mike?
Yeah.
I'm not out on Ricky
I'm
Seals-Jones.
out, man.
They're going to have to throw to somewhere. The Chargers have been much better against wide receivers, and this isn't just the last 6 games or this season. If you really go back the last few years with this, core group of their star players on defense, with the pass rush, Joey Bosa there, we talked about this, with Jeff Hireman a couple weeks ago. You want to beat that pass rush, you throw quick passes to the tight end. I think that you could do worse than Ricky Seals-Jones because they've got to pass to somewhere, and I think Larry and Kirk are going to get locked down.
All right. Let's talk about Antonio Gates' big performance from last week. He had the best game of any tight end in the National Football League last week, and I think people want to know, is this an anomaly? Or are you going to see better production from him? Does this mean that Phillip is going to look his way a little bit more? Not excited.
No, I think it was just a one-game thing.
35% of snaps in that game. It seems like an outlier.
I think the reports are that Antonio Gates is still tired from that game. He's catching his breath.
Not surprised. I mean, he did.
Sorry.
He's been on oxygen
he's
since
still got.
Sunday.
He may not be running as fast as he used to. He may not be on the field as much as he used to be. Still got soft hands, man. You throw the ball around him, he comes down with
Scooping it near the ground. There was one catch last week.
I'd much rather play him than Ricky Seals-Jones.
It was underthrown.
By a lot.
Really?
Ricky Seals-Jones is trash. Pure, unadulterated garbage.
Okay.
Would you play Seals-Jones over Gates? I'm going to give you a chance to back up your man.
No, but it's close. I don't think it's a home run, but I would probably play Gates over Ricky.
The 5-5 Dolphins take on the 5-5 Colts. Seems like I should push this button. 55! Oh! It just seemed like the right thing to do. The Colts are 9-point home favorites and a 51-point over-under. That's a lot of points implied for the Colts.
Yes.
And Andrew Luck and company. I guess that's why Jason loves Marlon Mack so much.
Well, we have been updated. Ryan Kelly, the center for the Colts, will be out. That's a massive deal.
I mean, their offensive line, we talked about it, I believe, yesterday or earlier this week, about how improved it has been. A part of that has been Ryan Kelly. He's been awesome. This hurts Marlon Mack. Now, this is not me saying you shouldn't start him, or that I'm even pivoting off of him being a start of the week. This is just one player, but he probably won't end up at running back 8 in my rankings. For instance, I said he was ahead of Joe Mixon. With the starting center being out of the way, I'll probably start Joe Mixon over Marlon Mack. But I do still – I mean, Marlon Mack is a talented player for a great offense, and Andrew Luck has just been world class.
At least 3 passing touchdowns in 7 straight games.
He's been incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, you contrast that with Kirk Cousins not having any games over that too, and he's got 7 straight. He's a machine, and he spreads the ball around. That's the thing. He finds the open man. He's got enough mobility to make the play outside the pocket. So Marlon Mack, you like him. Maybe you temper it a tiny bit due to the Ryan Kelly news that just came through. T.Y. Hilton, a big week last week. I don't think you can count on any other wide receiver on that team, but T.Y. Hilton is the man. And then Eric Ebron. We talked about Jack Doyle. Mike loves Jack Doyle, 4 for 43 last week.
Eric Ebron's a great play too.
I mean, think he is.
Both of them are good plays. You can start either one in your tight end, and you're going to be fine. Eric Ebron, because he's not on the field, we talked about the low snaps,
he's a touchdown-dependent guy.
He is a touchdown-dependent guy, but if you want to put odds on who gets the touchdown, one of the 3 touchdowns Andrew Luck's going to throw, Eric Ebron will be near the top of the list.
Yes.
Over the last 6 weeks, the Dolphins are the 27th best against tight end, so that's not good. That's great for Ebron, great for Doyle, great for Mo Alley Cox.
Oh, Gigantor, man!
I
love that guy.
I love watching
him featured.
So this is something where, seriously, this is something where early. I think this was like preseason. The season hasn't started yet, and you were talking about this guy.
Yes.
You didn't even know who it was. You're just like, there was this guy.
You'll know him when you see him.
Who was so big. He was just. And then we were watching a different game as we're learning who Mo Alley Cox was. It was like, that's him.
Look,
that's the guy. And you're like, well, clearly that's the guy. He is.
Bill Brasky thinks that Mo Alley Cox is huge.
Yes. Bill Brasky.
What's funny is if you look at Mo Alley Cox,
you're looking up, definitely.
Well, certainly looking up. But I mean, he was a basketball player. He was VCU. I mean, he's 6'6", 260.
Looks,
he's known.
He's 7'2".
That he is
minimum.
He's known for basketball, and he looks it on the field.
Those numbers do not give this man justice. No. If you put him and like George Kittle, who's just as big as the numbers you just said.
He's 6'6" going on 7'6"?
He's 6'6" going on 7'6". Maybe he's just wearing like, he's
got lifts.
He's got platform shoes on and a huge helmet.
Platform cleats.
Platform cleats. I don't know
what it is.
I
want to see that in Photoshop real bad.
He looks bigger than other tight ends.
I want to see platform cleats.
Got go-go cleats.
Oh, man. Him or Yao Ming at the tight end position?
Oh, Yao Ming for sure.
I'm not allowed. I don't want to talk about the Dolphins. Do you guys want to talk about the Dolphins?
I think you can play.
Not it.
Ryan Tannehill's going to start. Don't start him.
No.
Kenyon Drake is in a non-contact. I'm not starting him because even if he's active,
high risk.
High risk. He gets hit on that shoulder and he's out for the game. The only guy that I would be willing to start is Frank Gore from the Dolphins.
What about Danny Amendola? Danny Amendola or Mr. Humphries?
Whoever else you say. So Humphries.
So just for the record, Danny Amendola, you gave me those averages, right, from Adam Humphries. Here's Amendola's last 5 games.
He's been great.
8 catches, 6 catches, 5 catches, 5 catches, 7 catches.
Can you tell me how many of those games came with Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, that's the problem is those were in Brocktober.
Sure, but last time Tannehill played, he had Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson, too. So you can't just chalk it all up to Brock Osweiler. The only players running around on the field right now are going to be Danny Amendola and Kenny Stills.
I think Amendola
in a game where Indianapolis is going to pile up points.
Amendola is safe.
I think he's sneaky, Mike. I think he goes beyond safe
I like it.
into Sneakyville.
Would you play him over Isaiah Crowell?
Asking for a friend.
This must be a little decision you've got to make.
Hold on. No, definitely not me. That's Brooks.
I would play him over Isaiah Crowell in a half-point league.
Done.
What do you mean done?
My friend
just made the change. The 7-2-1 Steelers take on the 4-6 Broncos up in Denver. Broncos are 3-point underdogs in this game. I think that's interesting. I think it might be a closer game than we expect. 46.5-point over-under. I do? Well, I mean,
Broncos at home. They just upset the.
Yeah, when I say then we expect, I guess I'm speaking of the everyone because a 3-point line is not a big line. Jason was saying the Broncos just upset the Chargers.
Yeah.
So, and, being up in Denver, look, the Steelers pulled it out last week, but it wasn't pretty for a while. So we'll see what Road Big Ben can do.
Right.
James Conner's got the backfield all to himself, but didn't do it last week against Jacksonville.
Yeah, but Jacksonville's defense has been very good against running backs this year for fantasy purposes. The Broncos have not. They're middle of the pack. On the season, they're bottom half against the running back. So I think James Conner's going to be fine. He's a must start. Antonio Brown must start. Juju Smith-Schuster must start. Are they, slightly downgraded on the road? Maybe, but who cares?
No, you don't care about those.
No.
Did you mention the Vance dance?
No.
Are you doing the Vance dance?
Yeah, I mean, look, you've got to do the Vance dance when you're in the back half of the tight ends. We've talked about this before. He has as much volume as any of those crappy tight ends out there, but he has much more ceiling available. So you're going to start Vance
McDonald or Austin Hooper?
Vance McDonald.
Vance McDonald or Jordan Reed?
Jordan Reed.
Jared Cook.
Ugh, that one's tough. I think I've got to go Cook.
Okay.
Phillip Lindsay.
Yes.
He's real good.
He's just
the matchup stinks, but I'm not letting that affect how I see Phillip.
I like that he's at home. Are you looking Royce Freeman's way at all?
No.
Desperation flex.
You'd play Isaiah Crowell over Royce Freeman.
Yes.
Okay. Emmanuel Sanders. Pittsburgh gives up the fifth most points to slot wide receivers. Cortland Sutton, who do you prefer between those two? I think I'd take Emmanuel Sanders, not because I don't love Sutton, but because Sutton only catches 3 passes a game. So it freaks me out.
From here on out, I think Sutton's going to be...
Didn't we say that before last week, though, and they caught 3 passes again?
No. We said after this... Last week, I was saying after this week, he's going to be great. Because last week was the Chargers.
What about the Joe Hayden effect? Mike, you speak so much of the Joe Hayden effect. I remember Jason saying his schedule's glorious, and I was thinking about Joe Hayden.
Yeah, if the question will be, does Emmanuel Sanders continue his role in the slot? The the answer to that. After we're talking about the trade of Demaryius Thomas, it has been that Manny Sanders has been the slot. Deshaun Hamilton, kind of the guy, rookie for the Broncos, who could replace Sanders in the slot. He's banged up again, another knee injury for him, so Manny is safe there, which to me puts Joe Hayden on Courtland Sutton, who's averaging 20 yards a reception, and it's sketchy, man. I have Sutton as a 3, a lower level 3 this week.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. What you just laid out makes sense, that Emmanuel Sanders will stay in the slot because of Deshaun Hamilton's injury. Courtland Sutton will be on the outside with Joe Hayden. So I do temper some of my excitement from the team matchup here. From when you look at it on an individual level, I would certainly play Sanders over Sutton here.
James Conner, pretty high in your rankings?
Yes. I don't need to check.
Yep.
Sunday Night Football, the 4-5-1 Packers take on the 5-4-1 Vikings. Let's get rid of these ties, guys. This takes me too much time to read them. Mike, you're all about efficiency.
I'm with you, man.
How about you get 2 ties that gets to count as a win? So that way they can either shoot for the second tie.
Does anyone have 2 ties?
No.
No, there's not a joke there either, Mike.
There was. I was going to go with like a
clip-on joke?
No, like a Michael J. Fox Family Ties joke, but
that would have had crickets all over it.
Well, then I'm just explaining what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
and
no, you're fine. You don't get crickets for
I
that.
pumped the brakes on my Family Ties joke.
I think Mike is legitimately worried about crickets now.
I think
like,
did it hurt? Did it hurt?
It hurt him bad.
Inside it got me.
So if the Packers upset the Vikings at home, who are 3.5-point favorites, 47.5-point over/under, they'll both be 5-5-1. So not the season you expected from the Vikings, but this is football, guys. This is what we said before the season. I said I think the Vikings are going to have a worse season than this perfect projection everybody has because not because they don't have good players, but because it's football.
It's hard.
It's hard. And when the defense is what it comes down to. The defense, Mike Zimmer must be his temperature must be rising minute by minute of every game because everything in his template comes to fruition minus the defense. You know what I mean? And then they can't run the football right now either, which has been a problem.
That's the biggest problem is the lack of ability to run the ball because the defense has done. They're doing enough on defense that they should be winning more games.
Well, let's play a game of bounce back. I'm going to ask you guys who can bounce back this week from this matchup because there are a number of players that maybe you're wondering about. We started with Kirk Cousins. Does he bounce back?
Yes.
Jason says he's start of the week.
Yeah.
Let's go to Adam Thielen. He had a pretty down
yes.
game. Does he bounce back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go to Dalvin Cook. Does he bounce back from his putrid performance?
No way.
Wow, I'm surprised we agreed on that.
You both said no.
Yeah, he's a no for me.
I mean,
I've got him at 14. I think he's got an okay game ahead of him.
yeah, he has. When I say no way, that's not to say you can't start him. He's the starter. He's got an okay matchup. He's at home. They're favored, right? Yeah, they're favored at home. That was an emotional.
I was going to say it
visceral
really was,
reaction
wasn't it?
because
that was a no way. No way is like I'm going to punt him off the bridge. No way.
I just am so mad at Dalvin Cook. He has ruined people's seasons.
You're bitter.
Other people.
You're very bitter. And that's also you, right?
Yes. I mean, I'm so sick of waiting for Dalvin Cook
He's at home
to be great. I'm so sick of it. And then
does MVS bounce back? Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He was on the field for the majority of snaps last week. Does he bounce back with Rhodes covering Devontae Adams, an opportunity for MVS to do a little bit more?
I think he'll do more than he did last week. Yes.
You mean the one catch?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we thinking here?
MBS the last 2 weeks
4
has seen
receptions.
Okay.
the last 2 weeks, the majority of his snaps have come in the slot, which I don't necessarily love. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's a throw it deep, go outside. I'd like MBS to be used more like that, more like Traquan's being used. I agree he should have a bounce back over his last few games, but he's not a must start here.
We have him at wide receiver 28 on the week for context, so that is outside that wide receiver 2 range, but just barely. Mike, if you were in a position, you're making that decision, right? Mr. Danny Amendola, Marquez Valdez-Scantling,
Sure.
or Isaiah Crowell, which of those would you rather play?
Ooh. I think it's Amendola.
Okay.
Just the safety of. I mean, I'm not moving away from MVS. I'm not letting last week destroy all of that. So that, like I said, it's a roster construction decision.
Robert Tonyan, greatest tight end in history?
Yes.
Probably.
I mean, of course. Dumb question. Move on. I loved
He's
your...
on.
Is
He's
this
on
where
pace.
Brooks wants us to put the put it in italics like sarcasm?
Who?
Yeah. Who?
Robert Tonyan, the tight end that caught that long pass. That,
I mean, we would have made him
Green
our
Bay.
start of the week, but it's too obvious.
Okay, so
everyone's starting him.
Speaking of not obvious, do you have actual interest in Lance Kendricks, who seems like he would be the replacement for Jimmy Graham,
No.
who has been putting up nothing?
Jimmy Graham has not done that much, and coming into this season, we did all the research, and everybody did. There was so much done on the Aaron Rodgers tight end. Is it actually worth anything? Has he just not had anybody since Jermichael Finley? Is it a lack of who the tight end is? Is it a lack of the offense and McCarthy utilizing it the right way? Yada, yada, yada. Jimmy Graham hasn't been good in general, and now you're downgrading that for a team that there was a lot of debate whether or not there was even value to that position on the Packers team. So, no, I'm not digging deep into the Lance Kendricks well.
No, I'm not either. I don't want to replace bad production with bad production.
And why would you start Lance Kendricks over Robert Tonyan?
That's a fair point.
Thank you.
Fair point.
Hashtag sarcasm. Hashtag don't do it.
Yeah.
Hashtag
but he
maybe do it.
But he's better. He's better than Zach Ertz, though, right?
Oh, for sure.
5-5 Titans take on the 7-3 Texans on Monday Night Football. Okay.
Yeah, this is
hands off.
Finishing the week with a real zinger.
real fart.
Yeah, that's the word that came to mind for me too. A real toot on
Fart of the
Monday night.
week.
A Monday night toot.
Oh man, and guess who we get to commentate this game? This is just. I might not watch it. Glenn, we might not have a recap come Tuesday morning. I'll be like, I didn't watch. I couldn't get myself to watch the Titans Texans with that commentating group.
We don't know if it'll be the blonde bombshell Blaine Gabbert or Marcus Mariota, but the defense for Houston, they are stepping up in a big way. You need all the stars to align for production to come from Tennessee's offense in general. And that goes for Corey Davis, who I was not excited about after his big week because he's Corey Davis, right?
Yeah.
2 good weeks on the year does not a season, it doesn't give you confidence. Dion Lewis, Derrick Henry, you pump the brakes on both of those guys. The only player that you might look at is Jonnu Smith, but you're taking the same dart throw you're doing everywhere else at tight end. I am not talking about the Titans again. Stop.
Okay.
On the Texans side, more interesting, but you pump the brakes on Lamar Miller. You're always starting DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson, it's not a great matchup. The Titans are a good defense against the fantasy quarterback. And so
Demaryius Thomas, you don't start him.
Get away from me.
Look, if they brought Thomas in just to open things up for Kiki, then they've done their job. Because I would rather
start Kiki than Demaryius Thomas. But I'm
Demaryius
not starting
was
Kiki this week either.
Demaryius was basically, he was going up against Denver in his debut. They force-fed him a couple quick targets to get him involved, and then he has not organically been a part of the offense since that moment. That's basically you're facing similar things as Golden Tate in Philadelphia, where if you don't, manufacture a few targets intentionally, it's really hard. I'm not blaming Demaryius Thomas or Golden Tate, but it's hard to be first on mind for a guy like Deshaun Watson. He's just not happening for him.
Yeah, this is, you can start Deshaun Watson, you can start Lamar Miller, but it's not great matchup for either guys. You must start DeAndre Hopkins.
You must.
And then the DSTs, I think you can start both of them in this game. That's it. You're done. Don't start anyone else.
One injury update at least since the beginning of the show. AJ Green remains sidelined at Wednesday's practice. However, Marvin Lewis said he will practice later this week.
Well, he will practice later this week in a limited fashion so that they can say he's trending up, and then he's not going to start.
I got one more.
Yeah, in or out? Do you think he'll be in or out, AJ Green,
Out.
based on that news?
I stay without.
Brooks?
One more big one. Mitch Trubisky doubtful for Thursday.
Makes sense.
No, my Chase Daniel's looking so good. Let's get into the Daily Dose.
The Daily Dose, brought to you by Draft.
All
right, what are we doing
So
for the Daily Dose today,
We're
Mr.
doing
Mike?
a Turkey Day draft.
Woo!
We're limiting ourselves to the Thanksgiving Day slate, and I have the first pick here. There are a lot of options, surprisingly, for limiting ourselves to just the 3 games. Oh, my goodness. Man.
And
all right.
you're on the
so
clock.
I'm on the clock, and I think that the options at running back are a little bit more limited, so I'm going to take Super Camario with the number 1 pick.
That's 100% my view on the Turkey Day games, so I'm not going to let Ezekiel Elliott pass me by.
No stinking way. You guys are idiots. I was so happy that this guy fell to me.
Tevin Coleman.
Drew Brees is so high, so much higher above. Look, there's not that many quarterback options, right? I mean, there's only 6 quarterbacks, and one of them is Chase Daniels starting, or probably. I'm so happy he got to me, and Mark Ingram could end up as the best running back. I'm going to stack Drew Brees with Mark Ingram.
Jason, you are 100% incredibly correct. Matt Ryan, welcome to the team. I got to get the last quarterback I care about.
Cool. So that means I don't have to worry about the quarterback position
you don't.
For a very long time. That means I am going to go with Mr. Julio Jones. Julio Touchdown Jones.
Now,
I apologize.
The way a snake draft works, Mike, is you get to pick one more player.
Awesome. Michael Thomas.
Dang it!
That sucks. You're going to win with Michael Thomas and Julio Jones.
Oh, man. I wish you hadn't done that. It gets a little thinner pretty quick. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and bank. I'm going to bank on Traquan Smith playing, and I'm going to take him.
Ooh, that's dangerous. You're dancing in the fire.
I like that pick. I feel like I have to take Kenny Golladay. He's my start of the week, and I believe in him. At this point now, I feel like with your wide receivers, Mike, I have to go upside. I have to go high upside, and I think there's safer options out there. This guy could be a bust, but I'm going with Calvin Ridley because he could have the 2 touchdown.
Yeah, that's the same view I took with Traquan. I'm going to go Tevin Coleman, stack him with Matt Ryan, maybe get a little swing pass action.
Ooh, so I'm completing my team here, and I need a quarterback and a running back. So I'm actually going to go with the pretty rare stack.
Are you going Stafford?
I'm going to go Stafford, Theo Riddick.
Sure,
that's not bad. I like that.
Man, Allen Robinson's sitting out there, and I'm going, do I want the Chase Daniel Allen Robinson situation?
You know you do.
But the options they're just not they're not great.
I bet you wish you had Julio Jones and Michael Thomas.
You know, I'm just going to take Amari Cooper. I'm going to take Amari Cooper and
stay
away from Allen Robinson.
Last pick. I've got to take a running back. I've got great options like LeGarrette Blount and Zach Zinner. It's just awesome. No, it's really between Adrian Peterson and Jordan Howard, and I am taking Jordan Howard.
That's the way I would go. So my team is, for this Thanksgiving matchup, Turkey Day, I'm going Stafford, Kamara, Theo Riddick, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas.
I've got Drew Brees and Mark Ingram, Jordan Howard, Kenny Golladay, and Calvin Ridley.
Matt Ryan, Ezekiel Elliott, Tevin Coleman, Traquan Smith, who could sit. That would stink. And Amari Cooper for my Turkey Day slate. That was the Daily Dose. Check out draft.com/ballers to play along with us. And no Megalodon would be complete without some Megalo mailbag.
Mailbag.
Mega Mail! Wow. Have you ever sung a different word?
Of course.
Okay.
Come on now.
Megalo Mail.
Show 655.
Ain't my first rodeo.
Welcome to the mailbag. Visit the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. Click the Submit a Question button if you want to send us a question. And you can dial the voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB.
You got to shorten those up, people.
Oh, the voicemails?
Yes.
Oh, that's
wow.
You want them to make the show.
PSA from Brooks.
Dropping the hammer.
So we got a bunch of voicemails, but you had to take them out?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, my fantasy team had a number of players.
Yeah, there are a handful of them.
Why are there wizards calling us?
Number one.
Thanks, Magellan.
Yeah, well, if you are a wizard, you are free to call the voicemail hotline at 302-464-TFFB. We do not discriminate against those
Against wizards, those with power?
with or without magic.
What about light or dark side?
We got
We don't discriminate whatsoever there.
All right.
And, yeah, Muggles, you can go ahead and call us out. That's fine, too. Kevin in Phoenix has a question for us. He says, I've clinched a first-round bye in my league, and I already got the defenses for Chicago and Houston. Should I consider picking up a third defense like Denver so my second and third-round opponents have fewer streaming options? Absolutely. If your team can afford it, I love doing this.
Really?
Yeah.
I play defense with the defense.
It
no
depends
problem.
on what the burner spot is, but if this is like a wide receiver 4 who's just there for depth purposes, I'm with Andy at this point.
I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to disagree based on the time of it. Okay, because you're talking about a bye week that's still if you've got the bye week, there's 2 more regular season games and then the bye. So we're talking 4 weeks from now is when you're going to need this
next
defense.
level.
Well, it could be next level. It could also be dumb because he's saying you got to insure some of your property.
Yes, and
against injury.
You're probably 2 weeks from now going to be able to pick up that third defense if you need. I think you're too early on it, but I agree in general. Once you get to the playoffs, playing defense against other teams, that is legit strategy.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather pick up that third defense or would you rather pick up Spencer Ware or Malcolm Brown?
100% handcuff. I would much rather have – because one of those two can become super valuable over the next 2 weeks, whereas the defense can't.
Right.
All right. That's a tough name. Jean-Viel.
Nailed it.
Jean-Viel in Orlando. I think I did nail it.
Oh, nice.
Would you trade Le'Veon Bell for Dalvin Cook in a dynasty league?
No. Le'Veon Bell is going to get a monster contract. He'll go to a team that is not great, probably, a Jets and Oakland Raiders. There's other better options out there you can dream for, but you prepare for the worst. And the worst case scenario is he goes to a bad team with so much money that he's guaranteed volume and he's a back-end RB1.
I heard he's going to hold out next year for he wants the 2 years worth of.
You better be dreaming of Houston or Indy.
Oh, Indy. Oh.
Yeah.
Jonathan in Louisville, Kentucky. Would I be crazy to start Melvin and Eckler against Arizona in a PPR league?
It's not crazy.
All about your options.
Yeah, you probably have a better option. Because Austin Eckler, in general, is going to be in the, as far as like projected rankings, what's it going to be in the 30s?
Yeah, but I think he's talking about also do the Chargers manhandle the Cardinals and then Melvin Gordon gets a quarter off.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather start Austin Eckler or Theo Riddick? Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah, I'd rather start.
Eckler.
I'm not rolling Eckler out there.
I'd play Eckler in a PPR over Crowell.
Eckler was okay last game, but here's the thing. The Cardinals went on the road to Kansas City and played pretty darn well and did not put them in a position where they should do that. That was the lowest scoring game of the year for – I'm just saying it's possible.
I could counter that saying they went home against the worst team in the NFL and lost.
They did lose, but it wasn't a matter of giving up 40 points. And so is there a blowout here? Probably. But the Chargers lost last week, and I don't know. Maybe I got burned by starting Eckler a couple times when he didn't get that touchdown. He hasn't scored in a while. Fair. That's just my take.
And Arizona, shockingly, the last 5 weeks, they've only given up 1 touchdown to a running back.
All right. Christopher in Cincinnati. Hey, ballers. I know someone in my league antsy and going to drop MVS after a bad week. Would you pick him up over Corey Davis?
Yes.
Yes, I would too. Now, Mike, we're ending this Megalodon episode here momentarily. And a reminder, go to footclangiveaway.com.
Let's never stop.
Footclangiveaway.com is where you can win a signed Saquon jersey, signed DeAndre Hopkins jersey, signed Michael Thomas mini helmet. Head over there. That contest went up today. Now, you said by the time the show got over, did you have something you wanted to give away for those that made it through the Megalodon in one sitting? Now, this is more honor system, isn't it?
No, well, it'll be the honor system of you're going to have to jump on the Twitter. You're going to have to tag the FF Ballers, and you're going to have to use the hashtag. Use the hashtag.
You don't know what hashtag.
He's making it up right now.
Well, I wanted to pivot and to have it be because Thanksgiving is not very good, but I know you guys would be against that.
Let's pick something out from the show. What happened?
What happened on the show?
You know what else?
I blacked out.
There's only 2 things. There's 2 things that are infinite. Frank Gore and the Megalodon episode. So,
Mega Gore?
What you come up with it, Mike? If you're not happy,
is he got to be able to spell it right so that we can see it on Twitter.
I was going to say tag us with hashtag infinite. That's what I was going to go with.
All right, there we go. Hashtag infinite. And you're going to get yourself a gift card to shopballers.com.
We're going to pick one?
Yes.
Okay. Not everybody.
No.
There'll be so many shirts out there, and we'll be so broke.
Yes.
It'll be great.
Yes.
All right, we'll pick a winner.
I'm
Tag
ruined.
us. Jump on the Twitter. Tag us. Hashtag infinite. And you're going to win yourself a $55 gift card, possibly.
Possibly. Now,
One of you.
Could I get the Hammerhead Shark voice again one more time?
Goodbye, guys.
That is it. Genuinely enjoy the holiday, enjoy your family, enjoy the football, and we will be back in full force
shower
next week. You a little sweaty, Mike?
Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.